My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paulini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
Damien, this added meaning to that Shami Faria bit, no? This feels a bit better.
Wasn't thinking about it, but I guess, yeah. I mean, definitely, it's a moment that we weren't expecting. So many people getting to know about him,
including
yesterday.
Brad Gilbert. Now, Brad Gilbert's like,
including Brad Gilbert. So many people having like outrageous takes about him too, because that always happens, right? When a new guy shows up on the stream and on the big stage, people don't know him. People only watch one match from him. And then they just expect, outrageous things from him.
What's the outrageous take then that you're thinking?
No, I mean, I think everybody is now like, oh yeah, if this guy, and this is not really a Faria specific, like this is happening every single time. But like everybody's, oh yeah, if he plays like this, he's gonna be top 50 in the bright future ahead of him. And I wish that to Jaime. I did pick him to break the top 100 this year, which I hope will happen. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of overreaction based on one performance generally whenever that happens.
What does his AO run AO run to the second round, which is a run, of course. What is it?
It's a run.
It's a run, yeah. If you go, what does it mean for his ranking? He must be close.
It's 80 points in total. I think he needed about 150 overall, maybe, to begin the season. So currently he's 107th. Yeah, right now it's 21 points away. But yeah, I mean, the next 2-3 months, I think they will be crucial. Basically, before he drops that OA Rush title, that's kind of, I think, his window. And if he doesn't do it until then it will be tricky. I mean, you were there. You should know. I think
I wasn't there for when he won it, but I was there for the first 3 or 4 days. Yeah.
Well, he actually won the one just before Roland Garros.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and I was there. I think I left on the Friday.
So that's maybe right. That's maybe.
I didn't feel the Shami Faria friend of the show, not from his side, but didn't feel that because I think we probably spoke to him in a mixed zone at Estoril or whatever, but it wasn't until maybe I spoke. No, I did speak to him during WATCHALONG. That's true. That's when I got.
Yeah, I don't think we spoke to him during Estoril. We recorded a press conference with him in Portuguese, but
yes. I saw it the other day. I forgot about that. Oh, by the way,
that was the one where you left and you didn't tell me that you were gonna on the way that you were gonna turn on the recording.
Yeah,
and I sprinted towards the.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. By the way, Raducanu's got a couple of break points.
Yep. Jake is there with the Amanda Collins straight sets. As I said yesterday, I think definitely the favorite, the bigger ball striker, but Emma kind of likes that sort of like dynamic where the pressure, maybe the burden of constructing play isn't really on her. She did just beat Alexandrova, and maybe she's going to find herself pretty okay in this one too. Hi, Claire, or rather bye. Hope you're going to be enjoying the match as well when you catch up in the morning. Ashley, I mean, who Amanda Anisimova is, former Roland Garros semifinalist, one of the brightest talents in women's tennis, really. But unfortunately, so many issues with injuries, also the mental side of the game. Didn't she lose her dad or something like that? And then she had a break as well. Yeah, it was quite last few years have been kind of brutal, but she actually made the 4th round in Australia 3 times already. So whenever she's on, whenever she's healthy, she is very dangerous, and she was one of John Silk's top 10 picks for this season. So,
well, Not a good start for her, though, and a very good start for Emma Raducanu.
Yeah, Mache is definitely right that like she's very much a hard hitter who perhaps doesn't have all that much in her game other than that, but just the ball striking quality is so awesome that she's a joy to watch. And yeah, hopefully we ever get to see her playing that full season again. That was a big opportunity she had in that Roland Garros 2019 campaign. Of course, that was also the weird Roland Garros where Barty, Vondroushova, Konta, and Anisimova made the semifinals. So basically, everybody could have won that. It was Ash eventually, but her toughest match, I think, was definitely Amanda in the semis. I mean, you can call me Kust if you want to. I don't know.
I saw that, yeah.
Do you both
It was
agree
said
that
in a
Emma
funny
can make...
way. I like it. Can I call you Kust?
Yeah. Do you both agree that Emma can make week 2? I mean, Emma making week 2 would mean that she likely has to beat Iga Świątek in the third round, and that's the big problem. I don't really like the matchup, so probably not. And indeed, Amanda's radar has been very off so far. You're not lying about that. Also, one more question that was there. Did I have my 2-hour nap? Yes, and it was precisely that, 2 hours.
So is that 2 hours? That cannot be, Damien, 2 hours in 24.
No. I mean, just before start of play.
I had a 2-hour thing. I'm basically between now and Sunday anyway. I'm sort of gonna just be on a normal time zone. I'm gonna go to sleep pretty soon. I might not get to the end of this first set, for example. We'll see, and then the next 3 or 4 days live on a normal time zone, if you like, and cover tennis accordingly. By the way, Anisimova is looking to break back immediately here.
That's precisely what she did. Maciej was talking about her forehand. I actually think the backhand is generally the more standout shot, and that's what gets her the break, forcing the error from Raducanu. But yeah, I mean, Emma is...
Wait, Damien. Forcing the error. I agree. I do agree. But I've watched watch-alongs with you, and there were less forcing the error. Sorry, or more forcing the error. And I've gone with that. And you've gone, nah, that was an unforced error. I think you're harsh. And yet, for whatever reason, you've chosen to be kind to Emma on that occasion.
I rather actually was kind to Amanda, I think, because, you know, whenever you put your opponent in that position, they have to be like, you know, a little like on the run. And yeah.
She should have made it, though, right? Emma should have made that.
Well, she can make the shot, but it's still a forced error in the sense that, you know, you are pushed. You are actually just like barely, you know, struggling for time, barely in position, and yeah, trying to hit on the run. That's gonna be an unforced error. I mean, that's gonna be a forced error generally.
Anyway, love 15 here, so Emma's got a... This could be 3 breaks. Well, let's not get carried away. 3 breaks in a set.
Yeah, just 1 point. So
yeah, I
probably
know.
not. Although I know I do that sometimes, especially on the men's side, you know, always bring up that stat that's like, if you win your first point at the top level on the ATP, you have like a 95% chance of holding. Whereas if you lose it, it drops to, I think, 69 or thereabouts.
Yeah, but it does feel like that, doesn't it? Love 15, you're like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
You do feel like, especially if you're a fan of X-Player. And by the way, Love 15 has now become Love 30. So I guess we're now at 50-50 territory.
Yeah, definitely a bit of an error-filled match so far. But yeah, then again, I mean, this is literally what Emma was playing also in the first round. So
yeah, but that forehand down the center of the court there was...
Oh yeah, that's
basic.
A disaster. Yeah. Considering the situation, you definitely kind of cannot miss that. But well, she will be pressured here. She will not have to like think too much about how to construct the points. Anisimova will be doing that for her, and it's her ability to survive really in some of these rallies that will be key. Anisimova already had this interesting pattern that she broke this at this Australian Open, but basically in the last 5 editions, so all that she played in Melbourne, she was like 4th round, 1st round, 4th round, 1st round, 4th round, And now it would be the time for another first round exit. But of course, she's already through. And
So
she
now
gets
she's winning the
Maria
title.
Carla. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know how that works. Fourth round, first round, fourth round.
yeah,
First round.
it's not quite Fibonacci anymore or something like that anymore. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, Maria Carla 6-2, 6-3. That was a pretty easy win for her, facing a very pushy opponent. Raducanu can probably do more in these type of rallies. So very much agree with you, Maciej, there, that Emma would be easier for Iga around 3. Yeah. Anisimova is kind of the opponent we're looking at right now, especially as Kalinskaya is out of the draw. I mean, she was never really in the draw, considering I guess she withdrew before the opening round. Well, she was in the draw, but anyway, never mind. She didn't play, and she was kind of like another potential flat hitting threat for Iga in the fourth round. Whereas Anisimova, yeah, she looks like the main dangerous opponent for the poll right now. So I do think that Raducanu would be easier, yes. And Ghosty is agreeing with you too. So if Ghosty says it, I mean, clearly it's right. Still no sign of our Nurlan? No, not. I don't think so.
No.
He's been getting some heat on Twitter though, because of the comment that he made. I actually failed to respond. Yeah, I actually failed. Exactly, yeah, because I actually failed to respond to a comment that Terry, so also one of our subscribers, maybe members at some point as well. Anyway, I also failed to respond to this comment that Terry made about like, what do you think is going to happen in Fonseca Rublev? I think I just didn't know how to phrase it, and then I said, I'm going to do that later. Basically, I didn't. But anyway, Nurlan replied to that comment from Terry and said Fonseca is in gigantic amount of trouble or something like that.
Yeah.
And gigantic was in caps,
Yeah,
So,
I saw that. Yeah.
So people are now. There's been a few comments to that, basically, with people saying you don't know tennis or something like that.
I took a screenshot of that and I added it to one of those sort of retrospective videos that I clip up regarding Fonseca, because you referenced it, I think. And I screenshot it. And Nurlan, we sometimes we get things wrong, Nurlan. It's okay. We are going to remind you of it 1,000 times, and it is going to be on your CV for the rest of your life. But that's just how it is. Just like Stefanos Tsitsipas is going to win the US Open in 2022 for me. You got to own these things.
Was that the year when he lost to Galan?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I know.
I mean, yeah.
Even your good friend, what's his name, who made the comment about Krejcikova recently and got banned on the tennis channel?
John Verheim.
Even John Verheim said to me when because he's been on Talking Tennis once, and he said, "What? Really? Are you choosing?" Yeah. I said, "Yeah, I just gotta. Yeah, I'm going for Steph." Let me tell you, part of it was because I had no clue. Part of it was because I just couldn't see Rafa winning that US Open. And so it was such an open field that I just thought, Stefanos is going to slip through and go and do it. But yeah, of course, I think he lost one of those set 6 love.
Yes, yeah. I think he won one game in the first 2 sets.
Yeah, right. I think he made it. Did he go 4 in the end, though?
Yes, he took a set.
Yeah. It was all happening on the main court there.
By the way, when John Wertheim thinks your tennis take is silly,
yeah, I know,
it has to be really silly.
I know you're in trouble. It's
like when we've all made horrible predictions. I think one of my favorite ones actually is like from me is when I think it was also 2022, and like basically the bottom half of the draw at Roland Garros was erupting, and I just said, well, why is nobody talking about Daniil Medvedev here? Like, the guy is probably the favorite to make the final from the bottom half now. I don't care that he's poor on clay. And he comes out and he has that match like 6-2, 6-3, 6-2 against Cilic. He like never makes any adjustment. He keeps playing him the same for the entire hour and a half or however long it was. And honestly, I just had a lot of fun with it. I like reposted myself and just said, that was good. I'll show myself out. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, there's some takes that are wrong, and there's some takes that are explicably wrong, if you like, and maybe yours was a slightly more explicable in credits. Lovely return there from Anisimova, by the way. And
Yeah, two of
now,
them already in this game. That's.
yeah,
I feel like we've identified a bit of a matchup issue in this
yeah,
game, and that's these two canon returns from Anisimova. One of them of the forehand, one of them on the backhand. She actually was trying to go for another similar one here, forehand cross court. You can see a very nice reaction from Emma though on the half volley. She gets Anisimova just moving a tiny bit, and it's already enough, surviving the pressure of that initial shot. So just one more breakpoint for the American.
you're slightly less down on Emma than some people, as in like
Oh yeah,
Jack is like, listen, that was a wild thing that happened in the US Open. That's never happening again. And that's not to say that she's going to go and win 3 or 4 more Grand Slams in her career, but you're a bit more like, she can have some deep runs, right? Is that fair?
yeah. I definitely don't feel like I'm more down on Emma than other people. Definitely not. Um, yeah, I mean, I think she can simply, like, if she's healthy, if she's playing and not skipping events like she's been the last few years, I do think that she can get back to like being a second tier, third tier contender for slams. It's tough to see her honestly being as good as like Sabalenka, Swiatek, and the likes.
But
Both,
Madison
but
Keys sort of
yeah,
occasional semi-finalist.
why not? Why not? I mean, I think it's just important to remember that like the U.S. Open, okay, she didn't face anyone spectacular, but yeah, just purely on the eye test, she was actually playing that well. It's
Yeah.
obviously a historical achievement. She's gonna kind of like keep reaping the rewards, but also the downsides of it for the rest of her career. People basically either being very disappointed that she's not repeating it, or simply the fact that she is getting so much attention, also in the positive way because of that. But yeah, I mean, I like her chances to just be a solid force at the top of the sport. I don't know, like top 30, kind of like perennially if she's healthy. And yeah, from that, I mean, you can always try to lock up another run. We just had
Yeah.
Barbora Krejcikova win another one. I'm not saying Emma is quite as good, I guess, but it's not impossible. That run was also not telegraphed by anything
No.
really.
Just watching Emma defend here and ultimately lose the point. How do we rate Emma's defense in general?
I think it's pretty solid. I mean, maybe even over the years, since that US Open run, she's had a lot of success kind of also playing like this. Maybe a little off the back foot, counter punching a bit more. It's not only really like the aggressive ball striking that won her that US Open, but of course it's also like the type of matchup where you're gonna be defending a ton, and you have to survive somehow. So far, she is saving 3 breakpoints here. I think especially maybe that first one was kind of key. Another massive forehand return cross court, and then she just takes that half volley pretty nicely. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a matchup where she is definitely just pressured and has to somehow get through it. Oh, and Terry did actually show up in the chat, so I was not wrong that he is a member. If Iga survives Anisimova, I would be surprised if Iga doesn't get into SF. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. Jabber, I think, was the quarterfinal opponent that I had for Iga in the last 8. So if that happens, I would be pretty I would be pretty bullish, I guess, about Iga's chances. And indeed, Kalinskaya being out, that's like another opponent that on a relatively fast court. I know this isn't maybe 2023 Australia, but still relatively fast court could trouble her. So it seems like Anisimova could very well be the toughest opponent on the way to the semis for Iga. I didn't see the editorial that Glenn Greenwald made on the Rybakina-Vukov situation. It was an interesting take, so if you can quickly explain. Oh, and you are actually explaining, so it's a problem with some people. I do like that take, to be honest. I was watching a short clip of John Wertheim and Martina Navratilova saying something about the Rybakina-Vukov situation today. I mean, it's not like I want to listen to these people, I guess, on this particular topic, but actually they weren't like going out at Vukov all that much. I think they were pretty okay with their like kind of. Well, they said that while there were some concerns in the past, and he definitely was like very aggressive towards her in some of his coaching, and they basically said that like if she is fine with it, then I guess that's fine. And that's kind of also where I stand. Like if we keep hearing from Elena Rybakina that she believes that everything is okay and she wants him back on the team, then I don't see why we should kind of like intercept and try to make it a case, even though the player in question says it's not. Like it's also like this in real life, right? I mean, if a victim says that no crime was committed, then you can't persecute, really. I mean,
No, you cannot. Listen. The Glenn Greenwald take is something. I think there's a 26-minute video that's actually on YouTube, which is not always the case for Glenn Greenwald. I've watched 10 minutes of it. I want to watch the rest of it, but it is sort of ripe for the Glenn sort of stuff that he sort of really wants to get into the nuts and bolts of. And yeah, when I was watching the first 10 minutes of that, I didn't get a chance to continue watching, but it was like, yeah, I think this is. I actually I wasn't even sure if I forwarded it to you, Damien, because I thought this is something that you could be intrigued by, and it's something that you semi-echoed, if you like, although I would say not echoed is the right word, because you were saying it before the Glenn video, and just like, we just don't know, and some people are jumping the gun here, and that doesn't people when you say that, when you give that take, let's just say things do transpire that perhaps Vukov's actions were inappropriate, then they go, well, why did. Well, no, your actions still have to be, in a democracy where we are innocent until proven guilty. We just don't know. And if we don't know, and if there's one person saying, listen, this guy's fine, he's not doing anything wrong, he's just coaching me and he's taking me from X number in the world to this position in the world, and we move on. That's where I am, and I think you're not far away from that, right, Damien?
yeah, I mean, I understand the case that like in many other cases of abuse, basically like
the
people
victims
have
can often, sorry.
yeah, the victims can often like not really stand up, I guess, to the perpetrators or whatever. But at the same time, he was already off the team, and if she's welcoming him back, I'm sure that he is not like holding her at gunpoint. So yeah, I mean, if she says it's fine, then I think that's what we have to roll with. And Ghosty, to your question, I don't really understand that WTA investigation system, but from what we can gather, it seems like it was like fellow coaches and basically people within the tennis community who raised doubts about Vukov's methods, and that's what prompted the WTA to have these investigations. So it doesn't seem like it's in any way come from Rybakina. I mean, she's been denying it all, throughout the last 2 weeks. By the way, there was another cracking forehand return winner from Anisimova down the line. So now it's second serve on the fifth break point for Raducanu, or rather for Anisimova, I should say. And this time she is on the back foot for sure. Anisimova has this like open court forehand cross court, and she's gonna hit it. So it's gonna be 3-1, and the break goes to the American, who had a very poor opening game, but it's fair to say she's been the dominant force since. Also, what is my feeling on the first Gladiator film? I'm glad that you're not asking about the second one, because I haven't seen it. Not really too invested at all. But actually, as a kid, it used to be my favorite movie, the first Gladiator. I think it's changed a lot since. But yeah, I mean, I still enjoy it. There's a lot of fun kind of like retribution story in there. Obviously, I do like Russell Crowe in the title.
You're a Russell Crowe fanboy. So basically, it's Russell Crowe, Matteo Berrettini, Thomas Mahach, and yeah, that's about it.
I mean, that's probably my favorite Russell Crowe role, to be honest.
Klein as well. You like
Lucas Klein for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it used to be my favorite movie as a kid. That's all I can say.
And Russell Crowe, what a combo!
Now I think it's kind of like, well, if I was to watch it today, I would think it's probably a little overly long. But that's fine. It's still a great movie. I mean, Ridley Scott, Russell Crowe, that combination always works well, and kind of just a very nice, kind of very basic story if you think about it, but the execution is definitely there, and you do kind of root for Maximus all the way.
Damien, I want you to be judge and jury. I have either seen or I have met Russell Crowe on the basis of this story. Okay, and you're going to decide whether I've seen him or met him. I was in a youth hostel in Sydney, 2005, September 2005, I think, and we got wind of the fact that just down the road, was in Newtown, Sydney, was going to be Russell Crowe and his band were going to be playing, and he was going to be the lead singer. And so, of course, the people in the youth hostel, we all went down there, and it was a fairly crowded pub, but clearly wind hadn't gone across Sydney that he was going to be playing there, because otherwise I think it would have been more packed than it was. I was pretty much 5 meters away from him. I mean, maybe less. I mean, he's right in front of me singing, and yeah, singing to the best he possibly could. However, we didn't talk. So I guess I didn't meet him, right?
Yeah, you didn't
I
meet
saw-
him,
I
but
saw-
you
I
did
saw
see
him.
him in person. Yeah,
But does proximity help the meeting? If you're close, are you meeting someone if you're 5 meters away?
Well, I mean, I think we can easily just relate this to tennis, and there's a lot of professional tennis players we've seen. We were close to them, but that doesn't mean we met them.
No.
actually.
But what about if you play against someone? Do you?
Oh.
So you listen. You can watch a tennis player and arguably be closer to them than the opponent in terms of proximity.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean, they even saw you or thought
Yeah.
anything of you. But if you're playing against somebody, they probably will. By the
They're
way,
aware of
7
your
forehead
existence.
winners from Anisimova already. She's crushing that one into the corner. Now the +1. Yeah, I mean, she's
A
really taken
lovely
over
+1.
since the first game and is kind of running away with it here. Oh yeah, and just to I love that wizard hunt comment, Ghosty, about the witch hunt potentially. I mean, Jake, just to be clear, my favorite film when I was a kid, by now Gladiator is definitely not my favorite film anymore. but indeed, overly long, sounding like Ben Rothenberg. I mean, there are definitely some movies that overstay their welcome. I don't remember how long Gladiator is, but it's like 2.5 hours, I would assume. And also, have we commented on the Sigmund falling to the ground victory thing? I mean, I didn't see it. I don't think I saw the handshake. So
I have things to say about that. Although I've
Okay.
just seen an amazing return from Raducanu.
And a
Sorry,
double fault now from Anisimova. So we are at deuce. Go ahead about the Sigmund thing.
Who's asking about the Sigmund thing, by the way? Is it
Ghosty.
Ghosty? Yeah. I mean, not that it matters. I see a lot of unnecessary vitriol of abuse towards Lauda Sigmund that is just way over the top. She's trying to win tennis matches, and I get it that she gets under the skins of her opponents and her opponents' fans, but I think then the response to that, as in I'm thinking about, we've got a break point now for Raducanu. The response to that is too far in the extreme as well. So you've got Lauda, pushing Coco Gauff all the way and probably pushing her more than anyone else did en route to winning that title in
Other than Arena, yeah.
Yeah, in 20 and she's then in tears in the press conference afterwards because people are booing her and stuff. And this is a bit about the fandom stuff that I spoke about on the show before. Is you just think that you can have your favorites, but you don't have to hate the people that tried to beat your favorites. Now, does Lauda? Oh, that's a horrible double fault.
Yeah, and that's 4 points in a row for Raducanu, including 2 double faults for Amanda, 1 +1 error, I think, and also that return that was pretty great from Emma. So basically, yeah, she's kind of gifted that breakaway. So yeah, we can see that this match is a bit spotty right now in terms of just the quality being so up and down, because it's Anisimova, right? Because she's going to be crashing most of her shots. But yeah, we didn't really expect anything else, I suppose.
She didn't crush that second serve.
Yeah. Second one isn't great. Yeah, the Gladiator thing. I actually heard it's pretty okay, but to be honest with you, I'm not interested in it because I know it's technically the same universe, and they bring up the same, they bring in some characters from the first movie, but I guess I would be maybe more interested in, if it like directly followed the story of the original or something like that. But I don't know. Yeah, it just doesn't really. It's a sequel that doesn't need to be there. There are some sequels recently that I was like also feeling like this about, and then I watched them, and I'm like, yeah, sure, actually, it made sense. But probably it's gonna take me a while to commit to watching that. Zygmunt Celebration, I also think it's fine. I mean,
Oh, definitely.
as I
You've
said,
got
I
to mention.
didn't see it, but from what people described, like, what's the big deal about falling onto the ground and celebrating for a moment and making your opponent wait 10 seconds? I mean,
No,
it's a
and
massive win for you,
I
obviously. The
don't think it's
storylines were there, so.
staged. I don't think it's staged, Damien. That's the thing. It's not. Oh, it's just there's a lot of things that Lauda does that are semi-staged and are designed, if you like, but that is not
I
one of
mean,
them.
you just react basically, right? You don't control it. I mean, when you have a match point and you're trying to win, you're trying to post what's a massive win for you, your best since ages. I mean, you're not thinking about how you're gonna celebrate. Really,
No.
it just comes off instinctively, and yeah, I don't mind that at all. I think you're right that Zygmunt obviously has a bad rep.
Yeah.
In some ways she's earned it. I mean, she
Yep.
definitely is a bit like she's quirky. She can kind of get into your head for sure. She's had
Yeah.
instances as well when she wasn't exactly all that fair in terms of admitting to a double bounce and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, in some ways she's earned it. I
Yep.
think though that US Open clash against Coco, this isn't related to that. Like I think all the crowd on Ash or wherever the match was, I'm assuming Arthur Ashe, but maybe
It was.
Louis
Yeah.
Armstrong, I don't know.
It
But
was that.
basically, like wherever the clash was, the crowd there isn't thinking of that because the crowd there doesn't know Laura Zygmunt. They just want Coco Gauff to win and they get rowdy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that was really related to that. I think she was just a victim of, the crowd going a little overboard, which can
Definitely.
happen
Yeah.
especially at the US Open when they're really drunk most of the time. And well, that's kind of my take on it. But yeah, I mean, she does have a bad rep. Partially, she's earned it.
But it's just, I mean, I've seen some stuff on social media basically calling her various names under the sun for celebrating like that. I mean, and it's just people that just want Coco Gauff. Sorry, wanted Kim Wen to win, and it's like, or were even Coco Gauff fans from the previous, and it's just like let her have her moment. I mean, you'll know this better than anyone, Damien. There were people celebrating their qualification. Of course, I'm thinking of Jaime Faria in particular to the US Open, and it's amazing. It's amazing seeing Jaime Faria react the way he did, and then Enrico Rocha, complimenting him on social media, saying, this is amazing, and then Jaime Faria responding to that. I mean, they're sort of brothers in a way, Portuguese brothers. And yeah, this because you just don't know. You 1 minute you're 20 trying to qualify for a Grand Slam. Next minute you're 25. Then before you know it, you're 13 and you still haven't qualified. And it's the holy grail. And if you fall on the floor, that's going to land in.
Yeah,
Wow,
that's an insane point, actually.
what a
I mean,
weird point.
Anisimova crashed another return to go 1540 up, and then there's a dead net, like a net cord that seems dead on her return, but Emma gets to it and puts away this volley, which she just kind of like swats. But yeah, this was pretty insane. Of course,
I think it was
she's still in the
weird. It
game
was
now.
more like an amateur. I've had points like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think recently I was playing this friend of mine and I only lost one game in 3 sets. He's much weaker than me, obviously, but this was actually a more lopsided match. And there was this one game which he won, and all points looked like that. And I remember just saying to him, I mean, this was literally a game where every single point is just wild, and that's why you won it, kinda, because there was no way for me to show that I'm better in a rally like this. And yeah, I mean that reminds me of that.
I need to understand my German notifications, but am I right in thinking that Hurkacz has lost the first set to Kecmanovic?
Well, I'd have to check because honestly, I kind of wasn't checking the live scores
You
for
have
all
to.
the other
No, no, you
matches.
don't have to. You don't have to check. You have to poll. You have to poll. Not
Yeah, I
have
have
to
to
check.
poll. Someone texted me that he saw a horrible Horkach service game, so perhaps that's true. Yes, indeed, it's 4-6.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Layal today? Well, I actually barely watched it, Jake, because as I told you on the Twitter comment you left for me, I was playing a table tennis event. So I watched it just like briefly when I had a break between the matches. And well, one thing I'll say, you cannot be broken and like struggling on serve this many times against Kovacevic. I mean, yeah, you just can't. Kova has been struggling on return so much. Obviously, the one-hander is very targetable. You cannot afford it. Like, Layal was actually considered a slight favorite of this clash, which I thought was a little overboard, maybe. But you would think that both of them will be just, sort of steering towards tie breaks and everything. I know it's a pretty slow indoor court, but yeah, I just think you cannot do that really. If you're doing that, it's clear that your game wasn't really clean on the day, and you're not abusing the weaknesses of Kova enough. So I would consider that a pretty weak performance overall, and a slight disappointment. Yes.
That crouching forehand winner, by the way, albeit undermined by that terrible second serve, was sensational from Raducanu. I mean, just watching the replay of that, and it's back to juice, so we're actually 2 points back on that. But that was just nuts. That was just nuts how she executed that.
Right as you said it, Swarna, the game, Danka Kovinic won a game, so she stops the run of Diana Jastremska for 8 consecutive in a row. Also, Iga Świątek is already on the court, playing Rebeka Szramkova, first game to the pole, but it's not a break. Yeah, I mean, the second serve of Raducanu is definitely getting quite abused today, to what Sean is saying, but she has a game point now. Maybe she'll survive here. I kind of want to check the stats now as well. How many is she winning? Of course, Anisimova has missed a fair few shots as well in points like this, but at the same time, it feels like already about 4 return winners, maybe. Yeah, 38%, 5 out of 13 on second serve. I guess not horrible, but even on the first serve, Emma is winning below 50%. So quite crucial for her to maybe get this point done, get us to 3 points all, as indeed it's been a struggle behind her delivery. And Anisimova will, of course, be trying to attack right away. Yeah, there's just no way for her to potentially lose this point. Like, sometimes, okay, Anisimova makes a lot of random errors, but when you see her unloading on a backhand crosscourt like this and the ball just sits up for her perfectly, she's not gonna miss that. Like, watch this. Like, this is kind of the shot you think of when you think of Anisimova. And yeah.
Damien, I think I've slept 2 hours in the last 28. I think I woke up around about 8, and we're both on the same time zone. I woke up about 8-9 o'clock last night, and then you finished last ball drops about just before 5, maybe 4:30, and I did a bit of editing and stuff like that, and then I slept until 7, maybe have a 2.5, whatever. Anyway, I think that's what I'm at, and yet here I am, a functioning human being. And I think I'm speaking. I think I'm speaking in English with you. I'm not speaking Polish, right?
I do think that it's very like probably not for people who are just like joining the live stream for the first time or something like that. Probably not. But like myself, when you enter the stream or when you enter the backstage with me, like it's very clear to me that you are, well, sort of like even not sober, not in the alcoholic sense. But,
but that too as well, because I've been on the
I know that too, because you were drinking the wine already, player. But I can like very easily tell that you are not, let's say,
on
in the brightest moment of your mind. But again, that's because just I know you so well. So maybe for some more for like the general public, it wouldn't be the same. But I mean, the people that we have here, like the members, right? They obviously have heard you speak many times, and they probably can also tell.
It's fine. We can air our laundry in public. Raducanu's back. Here we go. Raducanu's back. She's winning the calendar slam.
I love how Terry didn't respond to you, Jake, and now you're like, wait till I get my female male friend called Terry on you. I'm pretty sure Terry is male, but I might be wrong on that. For a while, I thought that Swarna was female just because of the name sounding like this, but apparently not. I think there was a female commentary we used to get. Was it like Tennis Tweet or something like that, right?
I don't know. I still don't know. Oh yeah, I haven't seen Tennis Tweet for a while. I still don't know if Terry is male or female. I don't know.
I thought he's male, but maybe he's not. I don't know. Maybe I mean then she's not. Maybe. Never mind.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
Terry's
For
been
some reason, I thought he's male, but maybe that's completely off. Of course, Jane. Of course, we also have Jane, right? Yeah, I think about Swarna, I used to like say her, and then he, I think, said in the chat something about like him being male, but I might be wrong on that again. With some nicknames, it's tough, of course.
It's
But yeah, of
tough.
course, we have Jane as one of our most regular commenters here. So
For sure. I love the sort of, I don't know how you can call it, the bromance that it feels like Ghosty and Jane are like cousins or something. They sort of just they sort of just nod to each other in the chat. Thanks for keeping the seat warm for me, Ghosty. Anyway, here I am, and I'm just dipping in to see how David Fokina is going, and I'll see you again in a couple of weeks, and off Jane goes, and then she comes back again 2 weeks later.
Could have been 3 breakpoints for Raducanu, but she barely misses that forehand cross return. Yeah, I think obviously also not to forget about Elena. We've had Raz from Tennis Twitter showing up in the chat sometimes. So we do have some.
Raz, yeah.
We do have some female commenters sometimes, and Raz
Raz
is
is
like a classic
character.
example of this, because even though she has a like she/her in her handle, I think on Twitter, not handle, the nickname, everybody still thinks she's a dude. Like people just text her bro and stuff like that all the time. People just don't, it's a pretty long name, and people don't read it all the way until the end.
She has the one with Karatsev in there.
Yeah.
Is she in Indonesia or somewhere?
Yeah. She's Indonesian. Yeah. Well, 40-30 Anisimova now, so that missed return from Raducanu is looking much, much more important in hindsight.
Yeah. When someone hits a forehand winner past you like that, and you're sort of just a couple of meters away from it, it's quite demoralizing. Just this one here, I'm watching the replay on now, and yeah, you don't even bother to stick your racket out for it. Okay, she's got to win that point. She does, so we're at deuce. This is such a random match.
I think it's pretty similar to the opening round, isn't it? I mean, it's just the opponent of Raducanu kind of controlling, as Jake said, the destiny. And
yeah, but listen, that's the fun of Raducanu against Alexandrova and Raducanu against Anisimova.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good contrast. Of course, Emma is not necessarily like a very defensive player, but in a matchup like this, she has to be just reactive, and then play. It's a good contrast for sure.
If Raducanu hadn't had all the history and the nationality, she'd be a fun player, right? You'd be going, she's fun to watch.
I mean, I do think she's fun to watch generally. Yeah.
Yeah, she's an aggressive player, which is what we want to see, right? I guess.
Well, depends on your preferences, yeah, but I do think Raducanu is fun to watch. I think there was a section at like one of the slams recently where you had Qin Zheng, Raducanu, Yue Yuan, and that's kind of like precisely the type of WTA tennis I do like generally. So yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. I think some of the expectations, as a non-Brit, I don't really care about that. I don't hate her for like her schedule being weird or for her coaching changes, because that's not something that impacts me personally. Even if I think in some cases, she definitely has made mistakes in the past.
It doesn't impact me personally, okay? Because despite the fact that she was born on the same stretch of land as me, it doesn't. And it still annoys me. It still annoys me that she makes comments about, well, I need to. What was the one that annoyed me most? She said something along the lines of, I need to question my coach. I'm more of the view that if you really think that you've made a good decision with your coach, then you've got to trust them. Now, that might be the wrong decision, and you'll soon find out within weeks and months of implementing their ideas. But if you don't trust them from the beginning, then I'm thinking, well, what was the process that you took to to take them on. I don't know. That bothered me a bit, and that's nothing to do with the fact that I happen to have been born in the same country. She's got a break point here though, and a second
And
serve.
she's gonna attack the return. Is it in from Anisimova? Probably not. Yeah, it's Raducanu of the break now. So, of course, now the challenge will be to hold serve despite all the pressure coming at Rema's serve. But yeah, I mean, in this match, it doesn't seem like it will be a huge deal anyway. It's just like, if you're one game ahead, that's going to be good.
Yeah, it does feel like that, yeah. But
Nice
still
to-
nice. Still nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
Nice to see you here for the first time, Maciej. Appreciating your contributions in the chat. And I haven't seen you yapping under Nick's posts, but I imagine that must be some fun discussions as well.
Okay.
Do we all think Alsmeyer can surprise Monfils? I mean, if Gael is fine physically, I don't think so. But I think it will be a more dicey match based on the fact that, well, Gael is like 55 years old and he did have a 5-setter in the opening round. So
how old is Kyle? How old is he? 105 years old, did you say?
I just said 55, but he is 38. I know we've just had Nishikori like basically not recovering from a 5-setter, even though he had 2 days of rest. I think Gael is much more healthy, even though he's 3 years older. But still, I mean, I kind of wonder how it's going to look. Obviously, he's also won Auckland, right, the week before. So he's got a lot of tennis in his legs within the past 2 weeks. Even from the start of the season in Brisbane, he also gets 2 matches and one very long one against Nishesh. So I do think he might be a bit tired, but generally, I mean, Altmaier is pretty poor on hard courts. So yeah, if Gael is fit, if Gael is fine to play, I think he should pull through. But I also don't really rate his or Altmaier's chances against Taylor in the third round, like at all. I think the moment GMP lost, that entire section became a Fritz, like, just safe passage to the fourth round, really. Fritz Shelton fourth round could be very interesting if Ben gets there.
Daniel, I don't think I proposed this to you earlier. I've got an idea in the likely event of us not covering Fonseca and the person who's going to play him on that Sonego, there is an idea that I have of just to do a breaking news live video, which will basically be the video for the next 2 days of Fonseca beats Sonego or Sonego stuns Fonseca, and just doing a 5-minute live post-match reaction to that. Are you likely to be awake at the conclusion of that match?
Well, I'm likely to be awake a little later than that, whether at the very conclusion. I think it's a 50-50 at this stage.
All right.
That match is kind of coming more or less like when 7 a.m.-ish our time, right?
Yeah, so
So I mean, I'm pretty sure I will be awake for the evening session. Whether I will be awake for Fonseca Sonego, not too sure about that yet, but we'll see.
All right. It's just an idea. As we see Anisimova get 30 love up, there's an idea to sort of do a kind of breaking news article, as in but you're just doing it video stroke verbally, as in you just talk to the camera for 3 minutes and say, listen, Sonego won this match because A, B, and C, and then end stream. It's just an idea I had anyway, but we can talk about it spontaneously as well.
Why did Emma pull her racket down on that passing shot? Because she thought it was going to go out. Also, GMP, by the way, very interesting stat that I just saw today. Since Tennis Insights or whatever started keeping track of this, no other player, so since 2009, no other player has ever went through an entire 5-setter without producing a breakpoint. And that's what GMP did against Gael Monfils. Also, Silky, we need DK's opinion on the value of Masters titles special K debate. I mean, he doesn't have any Masters titles, right? So I don't really know. I mean, he doesn't have a Grand Slam. He doesn't have an ATP 1000. I guess if you're trying to compare him then to someone like Tsonga, I think I would value Zhou's resume more because he has a Grand Slam final as well, but also 2 ATP 1000s. So I don't know. Are you asking if it's a big stain on K's record that he doesn't have an ATP 1000? I mean, sorta. If he had a Grand Slam but didn't have an ATP 1000, probably not. Like Del Potro for years, right? 2009 he gets his Grand Slam, but he has to wait until 2018 to get an ATP 1000, and no one is talking about it because he already has a slam. So like
he was making deep runs as well. That helps a bit.
Yeah, like if you've already gone a step higher, then it doesn't matter whether you don't have that title that's lower.
Yeah, I mean,
like
Stefanos
no one can actually. Yeah, you're very right. Like Stefanos Tsitsipas at 500s, like it's a fantastic statistical like quirk, and it's a great fun fact that he doesn't have an ATP 500 despite playing like 10 finals. But it's not a stain on his resume at all.
No.
He's got 3 Monte Carlo titles, and that's the most important part, plus the Grand Slam finals, obviously. By the way, I think when it comes to K's ATP 1000 achievements, so like I have to check this because, I don't want to like start thinking about it off the top of my head and miss some, but I think he has 4 finals and all of them were against like Djokovic and Nadal, so that also kind of says it all. Yeah, 2 against Nadal, 2 against Djokovic.
I'm just not. I probably didn't convey this in the right way, but in the previous stream, but I'm just not that as a fan or as an observer. It's not that big if you win a title, it's huge. You've never won a title for Botic, Van der Zandschulp, for example, for David Fokina. Winning that title is massive, and it'll be amazing when it happens. If it's a 1000 or like Jan-Lennard Struff was the guy that I mentioned in the previous stream, never won a title, plays Alcaraz in that Madrid final, goes toe-to-toe with him in his own way, if you like, and doesn't quite win that match despite having chances to do so. And you're like, bloody hell, but he wins in Munich a year later. So it's okay. It's all right. He wins the title. It's not the same as a Grand Slam.
Yeah, but he didn't, right? I mean,
yeah, he didn't. But for me, there are 4 or 5 objectives. Whether it's to get your first ATP Tour point, that's an objective. Wow, you've got that. Now, what's the next? Next is top 100, I guess. Great. Next is, if you do it in order, which very few do, but I'm sure it's next is to win a title of any description. And then it's a Grand Slam, right? You don't go, I've won a 250 now I need to win a 500. Not really.
Not 500. I think 500 is the overlooked level, but 1000, I think it's actually a pretty big deal.
It's more important, but it's still a stepping stone. It's more important, but get an ATP Tour point, get top 100, win a title, win a Grand Slam, and somewhere in the mix there is number 1 as well. But
I don't know. I think there are a lot of players for whom like that ATP 1000 win is the defining point of their careers, or like something that is really important on the resume.
Yes, it is sort of, but it's more like retrospectively. It's like, that was the top for me, and it was winning a 1000 title for David Ferrer.
So what's your point, really? I'm not sure.
My point is that it's not that whether Kei Nishikori wins a 1000 or not, I don't think it makes a huge difference. I don't think it makes a...
I mean, for him right now, if you're thinking, okay, I'm going to have to... Let's imagine this is a darts event, for example, and there's that MC, right? And he has to introduce Kei Nishikori. And he's like, well, let's welcome the samurai, the Japanese warrior, the special K. And yeah, I mean, he's the 2014 US Open runner-up. That's what he would say.
Yep. And that's what he is. And whether he wins 10
if he had an ATP 1000 title, the US Open would still come first.
Yeah, right. By the way, what a return, Raducanu. And we've got a set point here for the Brit.
Yeah, the previous game she saved the break points. Anisimova with some more errors coming up here. And now she's also abusing that Anisimova second serve. So she's showing Amanda it's not quite just like, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. And it's another double fault. So, partially it could be caused by the pressure of Raducanu's returning here as well. But there's been a few double faults from Anisimova, and I'm sure not all of them were coming from that. Forward number 4 is important too. I think the Grand Slam final is bigger though.
By the way, I think there's a manner to these double faults and these faults. They're not just missing the line. They're going like a meter out. Again, it's sort of amateur sort of serves. You know, when you hit that big first serve and it's like 12 meters out, and you're going, you don't see that on the TV, but we are seeing it on our TVs. That serve there, which is a second serve, by the way, was, I can't believe how far that went out from Anisimova. I can't believe I've got number 7. Wait, what number? There she is on my little list at the bottom there. Number 10. Yeah. There we go. There she is.
Well, Rublev has Masters 1000 titles, but that's actually a good example because I think that's not really the first thing you think about when it comes to Rublev anyway.
You know, I think if you, of course, you know, tennis fans, big tennis fans, yeah, that is big. You know, Rublev having those 1000s, but Rublev wants so much more, and Rublev fans want so much more.
I think what you think of about Rublev, it's like how stable he is at the top, maybe more. So like just 5 years in the top 10 or whatever actually is kind of his biggest achievement to me, and that's because he hasn't made a Grand Slam semi, and most people just think about the quarterfinal. But yeah, I mean, you guys are right, of course, both Jake and Maciej, that like the Madrid 2014 final, that was the chance. And if he doesn't get injured there, perhaps he beats Rafa in that final.
Right, but that's part of the spark for this conversation, which I think has occurred on a previous stream. It happened during the Nishikori match actually with Eddie earlier. But you know, it's frustrating, it's disappointing, but it wasn't a Grand Slam final. It's not making or breaking Nishikori's career in a way. Nishikori's career, the trajectory, the career blip or change on that machine, you know, it goes down slightly because of that, and it's a pity for him not winning that 1000 title in a match that he was dominating. But that's not a Grand Slam final. If that hadn't a Grand Slam final, we would still be talking about it. You know, everyone would be talking about it for forever. That a guy was basically going to win a Grand Slam final. Has there been an example where a guy was basically going to win a Grand Slam final? But go on.
Yeah, I mean, there's an example sitting very close by, actually.
You're not thinking of Rafa against.
No, I mean, I'm thinking of a guy who still hasn't won one, still has a shot, but
who?
Alexander Zverev.
When was he injured in a Grand Slam final?
I mean, he was an injury.
Yeah,
okay.
but he was not in a Nishikori advantage situation that Nishikori had against Rafa.
Well, no, but like he was 2 sets to love up, and he.
Oh, but he wasn't injured. I thought you were talking about the semi-final.
I didn't know you were going for an injury. Like, I didn't know injury has to be a part of it.
Yeah, so Nishikori was clearly going to win that Madrid final and didn't because he was injured, right?
Clearly is a stretch. Yeah. I mean, he definitely didn't get a chance to keep going because of his injury. Like, he was dominating until the injury. Was he gonna claim it? I mean, that's kind of still undecided at that point. So.
What are we looking at percentage-wise? 60-40 in Nishikori's favor?
Jesus, John, I don't know. It was 11 years ago.
Ooh, Anisimova. You know, I put a volley away like that myself today.
Is Emma Raducanu a more important player in tennis history than Kei Nishikori simply by winning the US Open title? Yes, actually, yes.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, this is kind of one of the wildest, the only slam won out of qualifying, which also adds to it.
Not losing a set, and I mean, you win a Grand Slam, and you're done. You've done. Yeah, that's it. You can just chill and enjoy.
I mean, the fact that she has one title. Does she has one title, by the way? Didn't she go like deep in? No, I think she has one. Yeah, indeed. I think she went deep in like Seoul or something like that. Yeah, I don't think she won it indeed. Anyway, yeah, I mean, she is kind of a more important player, I think, in history because of that run being just such a standalone and yeah, no one ever doing it out of the qualifying, no one ever doing it in that fashion, 10 straight set matches in a row. I think she is a much more important player in history than Kei Nishikori because you have a lot of Kei Nishikoris over the years. You have a lot of players with one Grand Slam final. You've got the, Chris Lewis. You've got the bunch of like Malivai Washington. And yes, it's pretty brutal because Kei did a lot more in other events than guys like this. But
Malachi-Washington
after all, we
final.
only really look at slams, you know.
The Malachi-Washington Wimbledon final is more known for the streaker. I don't know, you know the story with the streaker, Damien. You know what a streaker is?
Zverev or Raducanu in history. How far do we stretch this one title? I don't know. Yeah, I know what a streaker is. It's someone who runs like naked onto the
Yeah,
court.
exactly. So someone ran across the court naked as Malachi just at the beginning of the match. That was the headline for poor Malachi, who ends up losing his only Grand Slam final. That was the Krajicek final, right? Is that right?
Yeah, I was going to ask actually if it's the Krajicek one, because that was the one where Sampras he won 7 out of 8 in a row or something like that. And then I think that actually this was the only one where Krajicek
some of these double faults from
is Krajicek more important than Raducanu? I guess you can probably say it's kind of similar. One slam title.
He's the Rotterdam tournament director as well. Is that the equivalent of a 250?
Yeah, a little out of the blue, I guess, for both. So yeah, you could probably compare them in the historical significance.
What were you going to say about Sampras in that 7 out of 8 period, by the way? What were you going to say? You were sort of halfway through a sentence with...
No, I was just going to say that, like, even though it was 7 out of 8 for Sampras in that 90s stretch, I think that was actually Washington played Krajicek, not Sampras, yeah.
So who did Sampras lose to that year?
Krajicek, right? Then it wasn't it?
So okay, Sampras.
I have to check, to be honest. Like, obviously, I wasn't around to see it. I was born 3 years later. By the way, today is a bit of an interesting date for a watch along from my perspective. I wonder if anybody knows.
It's not your birthday, is it?
It actually is, yeah.
Oh, bloody hell. So Thursday the 16th of January is your birthday?
Yep.
So you celebrate that in Bonn, right? I guess?
Yeah, indeed. I think it was a Monday in Bonn.
Wow, live chat, please do get involved.
No, don't get involved. I mean, I personally think birthdays are like so overrated.
They are overrated, definitely, Damien. And let me tell you this: they get less rated as you get older. But please, in the live chat, do donate $75 every time as well, of course, for every single birthday wish. But yeah, wow, Damien as well. Many people as well in the live chat will be wondering how old you are. I mean, I know you're 38, but people in the live chat don't. So I think they should know.
Basically same generation, you know.
Wow. Damn, look Ghosty being the first to react. Damn, happy birthday, Damien.
Yeah, actually, I mean, nobody's gonna be the first person to wish me happy birthday, because I actually got 2:30 p.m. yesterday. I got my first birthday wishes, which is pretty wild. But that's because somebody from Australia was already on the 16th.
Oh wow!
Swiatek with a bagel in the opening set, indeed. Wow.
Yeah. Well, we all know that she's doing the Canada Slam, so. That's that. We're just waiting to see who she's going to beat en route. Oh wow, I'm a bit overwhelmed now by this information, Damien. That or both disappointed in myself for not knowing, because I think it came up during your Bonn trip for sure. We were like, I'm sure there was like a 2-minute moment in between talking about Ivo Karlovic. I love, by the way, what do you call Evo? What's his nickname that you call Evo all the time?
And that's not me. I mean, that's
I know it's not just you, but you
Dr.
call him
Evo.
it. What?
Dr. Evo.
Dr. Evo. Yeah, I love it. There's two that I love that, and it sort of makes me smile. And then there's one thing you say, and I just can't stop laughing. And it's been constant for the last 3 or 4 days. And he's just gone out of the tournament, so we're not going to hear, well, potentially not. Well, he's in the doubles, maybe. So whenever you say that Australian guy.
Okay, I know which one. Yeah.
I can't stop laughing. And by the way, seeing Fergus today was so funny, because he's sort of like smiling and almost giggling every time you say it as well, and he doesn't know how to react, bless him.
Yeah, I think there was one moment when like he didn't react for 10-15 seconds, and then he suddenly caught it and he was like But yeah, we've had a lot of
Anyway.
fun this event, of course. Talking about the cock. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the birthday wishes, guys. Yeah, it always comes during the Australian Open. And honestly, when I got this message from that guy from Australia yesterday, I was like, wow, yeah, it is my birthday in like 10 hours because I completely forgot. I mean, the days are flying past, during this slam. Of course, we've been quite busy. I've been on the channel like constantly. And yeah, I almost forgot that that is my birthday. You're off by 1 year, Ozander, by the way. I'm not 27 yet. And indeed, 1996, Krajcek beat Sampras. I was right about that. I checked that. Go make some trouble with a Polish lass. Let's see if Iga Świątek and Hubert Hurkacz can deliver my birthday presents, because Hubert Hurkacz is actually about to go 2 sets to love down, potentially.
Against Kecmanovic. Come
Yeah.
on.
I mean, Kecmanovic is pretty, like, relentless off the ground, He does make it work. Hurkacz isn't too comfortable on the attack generally. If the serve isn't like gonna give him a massive advantage, I think it is a pretty tricky matchup. But well, yeah, it would be a disappointment for sure. I think considering the entire draw for Hurkacz, when you have Grigspor round 1, you've got Berrettini Rune round 3, Sinner round 4, to lose to like not either of them, but to Kecmanovic in the second round is a little disappointing. Yeah. Yes, I am 26, Ozan, or I'm going to be as of today. Yeah.
Nerland's absence now is sorely missed, I think. Yeah. But I get it. I mean, Nerland, of course, when you start calling big shots like he does about Katie Volley-Nets and João Fonseca or against Scout, then you've got to go into a cave like Osama bin Laden for a while and hope the FBI don't find you.
Yes, John is actually, I think, precisely 20 years older than me. Yes.
What are you, 12?
It's the same with my godmother, and it's always easy for me to remember how old she is because of that. Because yeah,
Jamie, you are in a way getting closer to my age every year, like percentage-wise.
Well,
like
percentage-wise, yes.
when I'm 112 and you are 92, yeah, we're going to basically be the same age.
You can look at it like this, yeah, but I mean, with every single year, your
we
decline
should have a
is also
Werash
kind of like
return at that age when I'm 112 and you're 92, and I'll get you more severely in that backhand corner than
Is Anisimova running away with it, by the way, a little bit? 16 forehand winners to 3 from Raducanu, 25 winners to 7 from Raducanu, and she is pressuring for a second break in the second set already. Don't just start with Kok. Shramkova. Yeah. It's horrible, but if you're Polish, indeed. There's a lot of these names that, like, if you're Polish, they're a little more funny. I've already mentioned Starodubtseva to the chat a few times because I think that's one that, yeah, you're just not gonna get it if you're not if you're not Polish or if you're not from a Slavic country. But yeah, Shramkova, I think, yeah, there used to be a joke as well of the candy bar Mars, I think, when I was in primary school, when people would say Sram and it's from backwards, and Sram is basically related to pooping in Polish. So yeah, there's a lot of things like this, I guess. I guess maybe every surname, or more or less every surname, can be funny in another language, and sometimes you just don't even know it. Well, trainer out, by the way, yes, as someone is saying, for Emma after going down double break. Let's see what the treatment will be. Did someone say something about a trainer, or was I wrong? Yeah, actually, yeah. Sean said did Raducanu call the trainer? Anyway, Shramkova, whom we were just talking about, she did take her first game against Świątek. Jabeur is up a set and a break on Osorio. Kasatkina very close to the win already against Yafan Wang, and Jastremska was the first winner of the day when she defeated Danka Kovinic. Hubert Hurkacz, 2 sets to love down to Miomir Kecmanovic.
2 sets to love.
Oh, we've got Vansh as well on backstage. Hello. He said,
Hello.
"Sup, dudes." Vansh is very new age with his hello here.
very
today.
Well, I'm pleased that Vanch has managed to find time outside of the restroom, that he has in his own apartment.
Yeah, Emma is getting some treatment, I guess, on her left leg here.
Oh no.
Maybe it's like kind of even the groin area more than the thigh or anything like that.
Yeah.
What have you been watching, Vansh, this beginning of the today's play?
Well, I now have the Kecmanovic-Hurkacz match up since almost the end of the first set. So I pretty much
Okay.
saw the
Can you
second
tell us
set.
what's been happening there, as neither of us has seen a point?
Yeah, Hubie played a couple of lackluster points in his service game at 2-all. He hit a double fault. There was this cat and mouse point that Kecmanovic won. There were some heavy forehands that Miamir's been hitting in this match, like kind of from the baseline patterns. He's been holding up pretty well. Been hitting the drop shot too, bringing Hubie forward and winning some of those. So he's playing pretty well, and he's up 2 sets to love now. And then I've been watching some of Osorio and Jabor, which has been going back and forth a bit. Been checking in on Navarro as well, and then Świątek is big old Stramkova, and I have the second set on for that.
Wow, quite a lot of tennis there. The amount of treatment that Raducanu's taking here is a little concerning in terms of it's not just like give her a pill and then run off again. We're looking at quite a bit of attention to the left leg of hers. And on top of that, and she's just, I think it might even be the groin or maybe the outside of it. But also in terms of the nature of the way that she lost, particularly that third game where she was just barely moving and seemed to just be sacrificing it and keen to move on to the third set. I do hear a bit of echoing. As someone, is it you, Vanch, that's so desperate to hear my voice that you've got me on YouTube as well?
No, I don't think it's
I'm not hearing any echo.
Hello, 1, 2, 3. Oh no, I still see it as maybe it's me. I check. I've got all my windows closed. Don't worry. Somewhere it's coming anyway. Can no one else hear that?
Not me.
Oh. Anyway.
I hear it a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't know where it's coming from. Let me just check. I've got my windows closed. That could be me. In the meantime, you guys can talk tennis.
Yeah. Raducanu's fitness always an issue. That obviously is right as well. That Hurkacz 2 sets to love down deficit. I mean, can he turn it around? Is this a reality? I don't know. I guess I just wasn't expecting him to be 2 sets to love down here. But yeah, I mean, Kecmanovic can definitely just rally with him off the ground pretty easily. So it's not the easiest.
Yeah, it's definitely a pattern that Kecmanovic tends to play pretty well in Australia now. I think he's made a couple of fourth rounds.
He does make some upsets in Australia, like last year, yeah, when everybody was expecting Alcaraz Paul. He had this match against Struff last year too, right? That was like deciding sets tiebreak.
It's a funny thing, isn't it? When I saw that with Nuno Borges winning against Thompson yesterday, and I heard Vanch's comments on Nuno, and yeah, I didn't necessarily disagree with what he had to say, and yet here we are. He's in the third round, and last year he's playing, I think, Medvedev in the fourth round, and these players just turn up at tournaments and end up feeling good and doing well, Vanch.
Yeah, there's some tournaments where if you have a good history, you have good memories there, or you just feel like you can. I mean, if it's more or less the same conditions and time
is it
of day
muscle
that you're
memory, or
last year,
is it conditions, or a bit of both?
I think we see this sometimes where there's like events where somebody just has a way better record than at some other. I don't know if I can come up with examples, but like
Valentin Vašroj,
Tsitsipas in Monte Carlo or something, or
yeah.
who is Victor Estrella Burgos at that one event, right?
Yeah, Quito. Yeah.
Quito, yeah, in Ecuador. So sometimes you just feel a lot better at one venue, and then that's definitely a thing I'd look at. But it's not. I don't always put like a major emphasis on it. But if it's like
No,
a
but it's
pattern that really
something.
stands out, then you know.
It's something, isn't it? When we're doing our
Yeah.
brackets, it's. I mean, I've got Medvedev going a bit further, and I actually had Tsitsipas going further here than it was all about the first round.
Yeah.
But I thought if he gets through Mickelson, then he'll probably go on a decent run. But I'm only doing that purely because he's done well in Australia in the past, rather than looking at every other bit of evidence from the past 2 years.
Yeah,
basically.
but with Steph, yes, but like with Daniil, it's kind of more because it's a hard court. Like it's not because he's done well in Australia. It's just because it's a hard court. So I guess every single case is different, but sometimes I think it's a good tiebreaker. I think when for example, this event, Nuno Borges, you just mentioned him. He's played Miller and Thompson, and like both matches to me look more or less like a 50-50 before they begin. So I'm just gonna side with Nuno because he played very well in 2024.
Wait, I was thinking 60-40 to his opponent.
In what?
I was thinking for both Muller and Thompson. I
don't see why Muller. I mean, Muller to me is one of the weakest players in the top 100 easily. So not really. Whereas with Thompson, yeah, generally, but Jordan already had that fitness concern going into the match. So
okay.
But yeah, I mean, when I kind of like need a tiebreaker, that's maybe what I try to like to look at. But there are also players especially when the conditions at a venue are very specific. I don't know if they are here really, not this year maybe. They were in 2023, but when there are events where the conditions are again very weird, unique, that's that Estrella Burgos example is great for that. We don't really have another event like this on the tour anymore, on the main tour at least. So that's kind of when you maybe can look at it. So I don't know if on the challengers there's gonna be a lot of altitude clay events. And then you always know that you can look at Facundo Mena, Juan Pablo Ficovich, and the likes.
I think Indian Wells a little bit fits into that.
Sure. Definitely.
Yeah,
it's a very unique court profile, and you always look at Iga Świątek and Carlos Alcaraz to win it.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, they both won the sixth
Ghosty, I don't think we can say you were wrong for believing that Anisimova was more vulnerable for fitness issues. I mean, this is literally two of the unhealthiest players on the tour.
Go on, Vance. You were going to say something.
Two of the most injury prone. What was the other example that I had? Oh yeah, Tiafoe at the U.S. Open, for example, right? Like since 2020, it's basically been fourth round, quarters, 2 semis.
This is probably less like conditions, but just like the big stage atmosphere and everything. But yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
so
in?
That factors into it whenever I look at it.
Vance, are you watching any of Anisimova and Raducanu?
I have it on. Yeah. It's what happened in the first set, by the way, from 3-1. It was like 3-1 and a chance for 4-1.
It's just been a bit of a weird match.
Nothing really. I mean, I don't also think it's been weird. I mean, it's just Anisimova, slapping the ball around and missing. Emma returning the second serve pretty aggressively, but otherwise she doesn't really get to dictate the proceedings too much here.
Some weird serve. There's another weird serve there from Raducanu that's just like a meter out, which you just don't see that often. I mean, you're seeing it quite a bit. But anyway, how's Hurkacz getting on in this third set that he's 2 sets to love down in, Vance?
First service game, he's up 30-15. It's basically been two breaks. There was one break that he got broken once in the first set and then once in the second. So
how's he looking physically? Because I don't know, it just feels like since Wimbledon, where that terrible injury, and I don't know if I felt like he rushed back a bit for the Olympics, and then still.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't right the rest of 2024.
Yeah,
like pretty much every tournament he played after that, he didn't look the same.
How's he looking physically anyway these days?
Well, he looks good now. I mean, he looked good at the United Cup after the first 2 rounds. I mean, after the group stages, he looked.
Yeah.
He got better and better as the week went on. I think he actually played his best match in the final.
Yeah.
He didn't rush back for the Olympics, by the way, because he didn't play them, but he definitely rushed back
But
for a
for
few other
the
events.
Yeah,
for the
US Open.
Masters thousands before the
Yeah,
US
yeah.
Open.
I mean, the US Open swing for a while was actually pretty decent. Like it seemed like
Yeah,
he
he
was
made a couple
fine.
of quarters.
Then later
So-
it was like, you know, he makes he plays an event, then month of a break again, and like even the last appearance in Paris. But of course, this season is very different health wise for him so far. Dan, when it comes to your Casper Ruud comments, I mean, I think it's just not a shock result whatsoever. You know, Jakub Menšík to me was like a 50-50 to win it at least, and he is just the better player even right now, I would say, in conditions like this. He is a very talented young prospect. We expect a lot from him this year. He started the season so well, and just played so much better than Casper yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh,
the issue for Hubie in this match also is that he's not even had a break point on the Kecmanovic serve, which I wouldn't have expected going in 2 sets. Not a single break point
I
generated.
think it says more about Hubie than it does Misha.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, because
Anisimova just lost 2 games, by the way. After that last rally, I think I saw Emma like, well, hobbling is maybe a stretch, but like, you know, it's since that medical timeout, she's now
wincing is the word in English I would use. Wincing.
I mean, wincing would be more about like her face, though, right?
I thought I saw a face, but then it was.
Yeah, I was thinking more about her movement though, rather than this. Yeah.
It's been a couple of points as well where Hubie's tried to come forward and he's just kind of guided the forehand, not really done enough with it, and then he'll just follow through to the net, and he actually isn't winning majority of his net points right now. He's like 6 for 14 in the match, which isn't a good ratio.
Ghosty, when it comes to that Casper Ruud Australian Open record, you're of course right. He hasn't made the quarters, and in fact, he made the 4th round at the Australian Open back in 2021. But that was his only 2nd week there. He lost to Andrei Rublev in 3 sets, actually retiring after 2 sets. Jake, thoughts on Dan Evans? I kind of want to say yes after this week. I mean, if you're losing to Gustavo Elias indoors, it's time to pack it up, to be honest. Like, I don't really know how he recovers from this.
Jamie, you've been saying that for about 6 months, and I'm not disagreeing with you.
And not much has changed, to be honest. Yeah.
There
was like 1 or 2 brief.
But are you also sort of just looking or seeing evidence that's backing up your theory? So I didn't even know, but I'm guessing he's out of Weresh, right? And
he lost to Gustavo Elias indoors.
Right? Yeah.
Like that's literally like if you're Dan Evans and you go there, Jesus.
But how old is Dan? He's not that old, is he?
No, he's like 34 or 5 or something like that. But
Manch, let me just say this: Damien wants to retire people. Damien's like when you're 28, he wants to retire you. So Vanch, be careful when you get to 28. By the way, because
Joao, yes, I know Elias made the final against Max last year, but you know it's not clay or Elias, right? I love Gustavo Elias's game. The forehand is insane, but if you're Dan Evans and you're really desperate for points right now, and you go to Ayrash to play an indoor event, you get an amazing draw to make the semis at least, and you lose to Gustavo Elias in the 1st round. Rough. I mean, it's just a rough loss. Yeah. It's not a loss it's not a result that is telling you Dan is on his way back, but rather one that is saying he's still very much in shambles at the moment.
Vanch, I feel like you got something to say.
I mean, you're joking, but
US Open,
Elias has made.
He made the 3rd round of the US Open, right? So he did go on a decent run there. I mean, he won a couple of matches, but that was about it. Last year
run as well.
Honestly,
it wasn't it. I mean,
the injury he got at the end of 23, I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah, that's a turning point.
Yeah, there was this when he was playing Tiafoe in Vienna.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was winning that. He was beating him like he did in DC.
Yeah.
And then he gets hurt there, and then like his ranking just drops a ton after that. Also, when he didn't play DC, and then he chose to play Olympics doubles with Andy.
By the way, love 40 now. Anisimova against Raducanu. We could be back on serve. A double break
since the MTO. Amanda has just been
rubbish.
Yeah, I don't know. There's periods of matches where Amanda just goes totally walkabout, and then there's other times where she looks unplayable. I saw this a lot at DC as well. Like
I mean,
There's
it
4 or
comes
5
with the
games where
play
she just
style.
looks
By the way, I think
sorts.
DC's becoming the new San Diego for Vanch, because every second comment, like it's like, well, in DC you had the Watergate scandal. It's like, I'm not sure how this is related to tennis, Vanch, but
We had the
Calf
Chapo
sounds right, Jake.
disqualification. It was quite
Calf
eventful,
sounds
actually.
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Damien, say what?
No, I was just gonna say calf sounds right, Jake. I'd have to check, but I think it sounds right.
Damien's very attentive to the chat this evening, by the way. I don't know.
I'm always very attentive to the chat, aren't I?
Yeah, you're good. You're good with the chat, but you have you're zoned in on the tennis, and then there's a break, and you switch to the chat. Now,
No, because if I'm watching by myself, if I'm doing a solo watch along, then I basically have to be talking all the time, and I don't really have time. So I only check the chat during the breaks, and then I try to like make up, and it's not enough time, and then I have these comments that I get to like 20 minutes later. But when we're doing this with with a few people, then I just have a lot more time to pay attention to that as well.
Someone in the box, and I think it's Raducanu's box, but who knows, because it's a bit random, is wearing a very crinkled Nike hat that you'd normally associate with your elderly uncle that is like wearing an old hat to try and stay fashionable anyway. But they were in the box, I believe, of Raducanu, but her box is always a bit random. Vanch, anything exciting happening in front of your eyes in terms of her catch, or well, how many matches are you actually watching right now, Vanch?
I've got 4 right now. 4 screens.
I've got 1, and that's difficult.
Yeah, I think I think mostly like my bandwidth is 2 or 3 that I can actually like properly watch at the same time, which is probably what is going to be in the 3rd round onwards, 3rd round and 4th round. And then what's the quarters?
Do you like it, Vanch, when we get to 3rd or 4th round and it gets a bit easier, or do you miss and lament the chaos of 1st and 2nd rounds?
I think the more I've gone on about doing this, I just give up sometimes in the 1st and 2nd round. Like I just can't watch more than half of it. It's impossible. I bet if I stayed up 24 hours and I had like 10 screens, I would probably still miss over half of it. It's too hard.
Do you have any sympathy for that journalist who once said to the tennis player, and I forget who it was, which plays it to, but congratulations on the win today, and that the player responds with saying, "I lost actually." Do you have any?
Oh yeah, what? I've seen a few like that actually.
I know.
I think that was Rafa. That was Rafa that you were probably talking about, right?
Oh, I know. No, it's not
Thomas
Rafa.
Verdict.
No. It's not that. I think it was Burdick.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I think that's what I said. No, it's not Rafa. The Rafa one is different. The Rafa one is pre-tournament. I think it is at that Melbourne set where he says, you haven't made a final in Australia or done anything here since 2014.
No, actually, there was.
That's different.
Oh no! Actually, this was after Miami when he lost to Federer in 2017. Then there was that reporter who asked, like, congrats for the tournament or something, and then he's like, I lost, by the way, and then she's like, yeah, but it's still a win or something. And
yeah, but that reporter is struggling to get it back on serve, if you like. They've just messed up and they're trying to.
But if it's like the early rounds of a big tournament, then I can actually sympathize with the reporter a little bit, because what if they're actually just locked into the tennis full on, and then they just happen to miss that one match, and they're like, okay, let me just go with this.
That's not because they're locked into the tennis full on, but yeah, I mean, I get generally.
Yeah.
I get.
But like it can get lost, it can get lost in the weeds. Let's say if there's like so much happening.
But that's not because they were locked into the tennis. That's because they weren't. But yeah, I mean, I get. We've been at events. We've seen how it works.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get thrown into a press conference and you kind of have to like come up with something on the fly, and then you come up with this very silly, stupid question, and it happens. Yeah.
Nice forehand winner there for Anisimova. 4-3 break up in the second again.
Stops the rut. The breaks haven't really mattered a great deal here, but just being one game ahead again is big. She stops the streak, although Raducanu is getting another bit of treatment on her left leg. I guess what we said earlier with Maciej as well in the chat, that like Świątek really wants to play Raducanu, is just getting even stronger now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of
And by the way, she will be in that
buttons,
third round probably. She is 6 left, 5-2 up. So while Hubert Hurkacz is not exactly delivering yet, although he has a break point
he has a
now.
break point. This is his first
Yeah.
break chance all match.
Go on,
So
Vaj.
maybe.
Vaj is pumped for this. break
Vaj
point.
is the only person on the planet pumped for Hurkacz
I
Kecmanovic
was-
at the moment.
No,
I was
no,
disappointed
Trust
that
me,
you
I
didn't.
normally don't. It's just, to lose in the second round in straight sets again is just you're too good for this, Hubie. You're too good for this.
You're saying again because of what the Thompson losses, the Draper one, right? Or...
Yeah, exactly.
That's the US, but yeah, I get that. Yeah.
I get last year was a good tournament for him here. He got to the quarters in 5 to Medvedev.
Oh yeah. I mean, he easily
in
can
general,
beat Daniil in the quarters, yeah. And then he
for
plays
how good
Zverev.
he is in the thousands, he really underperforms in the slams. So.
Well, yep.
As a Polish person, what would you rather, Damien, for Iga to win another slam or to Hubie to win one slam?
Probably for Hurkacz to win one slam, simply because it would kind of like, vindicate him or something like that. I mean, in many cases, he's just like getting some unwarranted, I don't want to say hate, but maybe people just expect him to be Iga sometimes, the casual tennis fans, and they fail to appreciate what he has achieved. Instead, kind of focusing on the bad stuff, on the lack of a clutch gene sometimes, and yeah, just generally the fact that he's not quite as good as Świątek, which it's perfectly fine. Not everybody can be a 5-time Grand Slam champion, and that's just what it is. So yeah, I think one slam for Hurkacz, and also simply because it just impacts your legacy, your resume, and everything so much more. Whether you win one slam or 0 is so much more important than 5 or 6.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Although in Iga's case, you could probably make the case that like a slam title right now at the Australian Open or Wimbledon would actually be pretty massive.
Yeah, of course. But there's 0 and 1 is everything, right?
Yeah, 0 and 1 is the biggest difference you can have, and then after that, it's probably that 1 or 2.
Is there a bigger difference in tennis than that? Like,
no.
I mentioned those 1 ATP points.
No,
I mentioned.
Surely not. Surely not.
Yeah, that's it. And so that's why that Kane Ishikori thing. It's not on my radar. I love to see the biggest one for me in tennis history, at least I can think of, is Jana Novotná winning Wimbledon. That is the tennis story in terms of having a wonderful end, if you like, albeit the tragic scenario what happened to her since that. But just to win that Wimbledon is everything, and the fact that that she passes away as a Wimbledon champion it's a horrible situation, but it's so emotionally poignant because she wins Wimbledon in the way that she lost it in '93 and then ultimately winning it in '98. For me, it's such a huge story. Whereas, yeah, go on.
No, I was just gonna say Anisimova breaks herself from 30 love. So
nuts.
35 unforced errors to 17 from Raducanu. Obviously, the winner count is also similarly like arced towards Amanda, but it does feel like the quality of her play has dropped significantly since the MTO.
What crazy
Kecmanovic saved both the break chances. There was one where Hubie had a very good look at a pass, but didn't take it. And then Jabeur is also through to the next round, and she will play most likely Emma Navarro. Although I'm going to turn that one.
So Navarro's in good position, is she?
She's up a set, although she's down a break point at the start of the second in the 4th game. So, but most likely it'll be Navarro.
Iga Świątek through over Rebecca Szramkova. 6 love, 6-2. Not much of a hassle there. And of course, Raducanu Anisimova, this is going to be the match that decides her opponent for Saturday.
Yeah. I would say she definitely got better than in the first round, for sure. I mean, different type of opponent. And in some ways, her first round opponent was more strong, actually.
Ooh, look at that return.
Honestly, I don't know. I'm blanking right now on who Iga played in the opening round.
Siniakova.
Oh, Shinyakova, yeah, 6-3, 6-4, right? Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
competitive. Did you see
It
that?
was,
Yeah.
Much? Or both of you? I mean, it's competitive. It was good, actually.
It's a good
Fun.
test, yeah.
I mean, did you expect anything else? I guess
I expected it maybe to be a more routine victory for Iga. I know the scoreline suggests it was, but no, I thought it was competitive. There were some breaks of serve, and yeah, there was still some doubt midway through the second set. Not a lot, but some. Damien, your silence suggests otherwise, but
No, I mean, I do think there was doubt, but I guess I just have a lot of respect for Shinyakova's singles game as well. And maybe I was even thinking, she will introduce a little bit more of that doubles pedigree she has and the variety she can produce. She wasn't really
wow.
able to, but was I'm not sure. I was just expecting, Iga to walk all over her. Openers, even though Iga said after the match that she's used to easier openers at slams, in Australia that's not always been the case. Of course, last year Sofia Kenin 22, Julie Meyer
She was led a
23.
bit.
Sorry,
She was led a bit into that question, I think. But
I don't
yeah.
know. I just saw the quote.
Yeah. Oh, good defense there from Emma. But oh wow, she's going to win the point. But mainly because Anisimova gives her that point. But still, that was great defense there from Emma Raducanu.
See you Wang, by the way, making a good match out of this because she's now about to hold for 4-1 in the second set against
And this is the
Navarro.
moment when I ask, Zio is the lefty one.
Yes.
Yes, I'm finally getting this right.
I told you, just remember the ZU is 4 letters and left is 4 letters and Zinu is.
I don't actually
5
remember
letters
you
and
telling me that, but that's actually a very, very good argument. I mean, that's a very good piece of advice there from Dr. Vansh MD. Yeah, I mean, Ziu is 4 letters, left is 4 letters, and Zinu is right, and it's 5. Yeah, amazing.
That's how I remember
I'm
it.
definitely going to remember it now based on this, actually.
I'm not.
Yeah,
But
good.
I'm going to remember that gift of a game that Anisimova has given that Raducanu there. And
you mean the 11 games she's been gifted so far? Of course, I'm a little harsh. I mean, Emma is
Oh, and I'm
has
also going to
played
remember this
fine,
gift of the
but
game that Hurkacz has now given Kecmanovic, who's now up a break in the third. As
Kecmanovic is up in a break in the third.
Yeah, and he's winning backhand to backhand trades against Hubie, and Hubie is missing them, and he just looks so down on himself. Yeah, this is a big step back, really. If he loses this 4-4 and 4, that's a bad loss. Ooh.
To Kecmanovic.
Yeah.
By the way, straight set win for Hurkacz in the opening round, straight set loss in the second round. What a very non-Hurkacz event that would be.
And also, didn't you expect the first round to be way more competitive than it was for Hubie? I was surprised that it was straight sets.
Apparently, Talon was. I didn't watch it, but
I know
apparently
Talon wasn't great,
was
but
yeah, wasn't taloning too much.
Yeah. Peyton Stearns as well, should have won that match against Navarro. She was so close.
I'm not sure I understand the sentiment of some Brits on my timeline. Like Mr. Chris Goldsmith, the tennis talker, says, Raducanu 1 game away, but still feels miles away. I mean, does she? She's won 5 of the last 6, and Anisimova is missing any shot possible at the moment. So,
yeah, listen, I'm kind of. Yeah, I know. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of that Twitter account, and yet I sort of know what he means in that it's 1 game away, and she's actually love 15, so she's actually 3 points away right now, and yet she's also miles
Hubie does
away.
have a good. This does have something he can fall back on if he loses this in straight sets, because he's now getting treated for a foot problem.
Hubie is
fantastic. No, because you made it seem like he has something to. Yeah, at least he has.
Because I kind of was waiting, like maybe there's something wrong with him, like because I don't know, to lose like this, The way
I
you had
mean,
these games.
yeah, but it's not.
It's kind of like, in some ways, I'm a little glad for him. Okay, like at least you got this injury thing that you can, you know what I mean? Like sometimes when you're like, okay, there's got to be something.
I get it, but there's been way too much of it, like with Hurkacz, I think.
Yeah,
With
I hope it's not serious or anything, but at
with a
least for
lot
this
of these
event,
second
you
round
like,
losses, to be honest. There's always been
yeah,
something.
I know it's.
Yeah. At some point, especially when, he was pretty healthy going into this event and
Yeah.
it's not anything apparent. You also have to question, like, because people sometimes do it like, okay, if there's an MTO, oh, the player was like severely injured. Well, that's not always the case.
Yeah. By the way, Iga did her entire on-court interview holding that umbrella.
Breaking news. Oh, that's good to know. That's what we're here for, people. In the comments there, they're going, well, was she holding her umbrella or not?
Yeah, she's writing something on the camera now. I don't know what it says, actually. We'll find out right now.
Does that make you proud, Damien, to know that Iga was holding her umbrella?
Oh, okay. She says no more rain on the camera.
I mean, it's not like we had a lot of rain. I mean, it's not like it's been a deluge. It's been half a day that it's upset the outside courts. But I know
I don't know
they're
if it makes me proud to your question, but I found it funny how Vansh kind of said it like,
Oh,
she held it. She does the interview holding that umbrella as if it's like some sort of, I don't know, umbrella
like a
we should be
parasite.
aware of, umbrella that has come up before.
It's the same umbrella that they have, for the players in the
Okay.
changeovers. She just brought it with her and did the whole interview.
There's a bit of a
This is
crazy
weird.
point
What a
here.
weird rally we're watching right
Yeah.
now. It's
I
gonna
can't believe
end
that
with
a few of these slices went over the net from Emma there.
Wow, juice. It was super weird, but super fun. 18
Interesting,
shots.
interesting one from Anisimova as well, with the short angle on the backhand. Like that's just not something you're gonna see from her generally at all. No, she's
One of
gonna full
those-
power it most of the time.
The penultimate shot there from Emma was a cultured shot, but was also pretty special slice that just
Yeah, I
fizzed
mean
over
it
the
shouldn't
net.
go over the net really with how.
No, it should whack into the net for sure.
Yeah.
And yet she's going to face a game point now.
Yeah. This happens sometimes when I see a performance like this that's a little lackluster. Like the other day with Nori, I kind of was like, something up. Like that was a big dip right
Stopwatch
there.
check. We've had Fanch on the stream for 12 minutes, and we have the Cam Nori bingo.
You're gonna like this first serve, by the way, John. Keep pay attention to it.
Oh, you fat bloody hell. I mean, it's like a comedy of errors. That first serve, Vanch, honestly. Yeah, you didn't see it, but... And now look at Emma for the second serve. Here we go. She's ready for it. Of course we are. And back at Juice.
Whoa. That backhand, though. Anisimova just hit that in Mars or something.
Welcome to the party, Vanch. Welcome to the Raducanu Anisimova wild party. You've deserted your Hurkacz moment and Kecmanovic. You've given up on the pole.
Yeah. All right, Hubie. It was so long.
It was good while it lasted.
Yeah.
And yet you'll be back. If that's 2 sets all, you'll be back. And you'll be all over Hubie again. Ooh. Do you think Anisimova, do you think she's feeling the pressure of my top 10 year-end prediction? That's what
I think that might be the case, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, that is... you have a
Number
lot more
10.
faith in her body than I do.
Yeah. Gil did recoil. I think that's the right word.
In some ways, she's kind of like the quarter of the WTA, It's like she passes the eye test, but so many injuries.
5-all. What's the word? I'm not sure. When you go, woo, is that recoil? Ooh, you go for her number 10. Well, good for you. I don't know how to describe that. That was Gil's reaction to me putting Anisimova at number
He was
10.
taken aback.
Taken aback. Yeah,
Yeah, he was.
that's better. That's better. Good that we got the native speaker Vanch amongst us to put us right on our English.
Did you both have Emma Navarro in the top 10?
Yeah, both of us
did?
had her
Yeah,
exactly
I
the same spot as well, number 7, and I'm
Okay.
regretting it. And I was regretting it before the match against Peyton Stearns. I started to think about sort of post US Open and
Navarro and Paolini are kind of like from last year's top 10. I guess they're kind of like the obvious players that it seems like they probably shouldn't be performing like this every year, but it might not turn out like this.
I felt that about Paolini, but I didn't feel it about Navarro. Hence, I don't have Paolini in my top 10, but I do have Navarro.
Who was number 9 and 10 at the end of this season? Kasatkina and
really, yeah,
Kazatkina, I don't think is going to be a top 10 next year. This year.
yeah, but it's just there's always a unusual.
Well, if she keeps winning 1,500,000 or making the final
Yeah,
rather than 1,500,000.
She's also got lucky on a few of them. Like she's been getting those walkovers and retirements in Adelaide every year.
What a backhand! Wow.
Johnny should see that comment from Bachi.
Huh? Yeah. By the way, when it comes to delusion or whatever, or let's use the word exaggeration, has anyone ever heard anyone use the word billion as often as Damien Kust? Damien Kust, he every 5 seconds, Damien said a billion times, a billion this, a billion that.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, he does say that a lot.
He does say, he says a billion. So get your billion bingo cards out and let us know in the live chat every time you hear it and just say tick, and we'll see how many in an hour or two of a live stream. Maybe he says it a billion times.
If I say a billion times, and someone makes an entire like compilation of this, of me saying a billion times, that would be good.
The other one is literally. He says literally. Basically, if you had a Damien Kuss sentence, it would be literally a billion times, and it would be in reference to a Stefanos Tsitsipas backhand error, probably.
I don't know what to say, John. I mean, everybody has their own favorites.
Yeah, I unfortunately seem to keep saying like. I think like this, like that. But yeah,
there are definitely things that you say. I can't come up with an example right now, but there are some where I'm just like, oh yeah, again.
Yeah, for sure. I guess.
Yeah, there's definitely some like this for all three of us.
For everybody, I mean, it's just obviously quite common. And then if you spend enough time with somebody else, that's when you start kind of like picking it up yourself.
Yeah, you can anticipate how they're.
No, I mean, even you actually start to implement the same things in your speech. Like you kind of adjust. Like it's a common sociological thing. I've said it before, but like when we were in Bonn for the entire week with Mario and John, I actually started saying some words in like the Italian accent. I was going up at the end of the word just because I spent like the entire week with Mario. Yeah. Anyway, a breakpoint for Anisimova now at 5-0. That was a lovely back and down the line winner. Of course, it's been a match of very much winners and errors. This game, they seem to be coming from Anisimova, but wow. Raducanu responds to that backhand return so quickly. There's a lot of angle, there's a lot of spin on that forehand cross court, and it's good enough to give her the forced error from Amanda. Yeah, I mean, I guess Emma has been pretty good at just like, she can't be offensive in that match for the most part, but when she has that opportunity to really add something, she does do it. 5 breaks for her, I think, so far. It's 7 for Anisimova. Did I see it right? No, I mean the other way around. 5 for Anisimova and 7 for Raducanu. So, yeah. 12 breaks in how many is it? 12 breaks in 20 games. Yeah. Almost 20 games.
Half. Yeah, so more than half.
Yep.
By the way, Ziyu Wang is now serving for the second set. And she just played a couple of points towards the end where she was really bossing Emma around the court with her forehand. So
Ziyu is the one that won Guangzhou over Magdalinette.
Yes.
Yes, fantastic. I mean, I'm an expert on Chinese wangs now. There's also Yafan Wang. There's also Qiang Wang.
She
Not to say
also
Chinese
made.
wanks. I'm not an expert on Chinese wanks. Anyway,
Yeah.
6-5 Emma Raducanu. So she's gonna
I think the
return for
most
the match,
talented
considering how this
is
match has
Jinyo.
been going.
Jinyo is probably the most talented. The righty.
The righty. Sure, yeah, makes sense. Well, actually, Qiang Wang is probably the most talented, but she's not around
Yeah,
anymore.
but she's She has a win over Serena and Coco at the Australian Open.
I mean, Rybakina winning Australia match, I like it, but FAA in the semis. I'm sorry to laugh, but
By
yeah.
the way, FAA yesterday. I mean,
Which quarter was
Mhm.
he in, by the way? Can you guys remind me?
He was in the Casper Road Tommy Paul quarter.
Okay, so Zverev in the quarters. Okay.
Zverev in the Zverev in
no.
the quarters. Yeah.
Vance, you want to say something about Felix? I feel.
Yeah, it's just like how many times, Felix, are you going to lose from 2 sets to love up in Australia?
So there was no physical issue there. It was because I didn't see the match. I just got the feeling that there might have been a physical issue, but so it was just a normal match that he just lost.
Yeah, apparently there was this one. I mean, the fifth set it was a lot closer. Like it was 6-3, but he had like 4 break points in 2 different service games, 4-3 all, and then there was this one like time violation that ADF got, where he was like arguing for some time, and some fans I saw on Twitter, they were like, "Oh, that halted FA's momentum," and I don't know. They were just coming up with excuses, but I honestly didn't see it. So
what was the head to head there? Was it 3-0 for Felix before that match?
Yeah, 3 or 4,
yeah,
I think.
3-0 for Felix, and in 2022 he beat ADF on the way to the quarters. So, and he was kind of reminding me of 2022. I mean, the way he won Adelaide, he was playing some better tennis. Looked pretty good in the first
I think
round.
you owe us an update on that Hurkacz match, by the way.
Oh yeah, double break. I mean, I think Hubie just hasn't looked right actually since the medical timeout.
So Hubie's done.
So he's kind of out of this one. Yeah,
he is done.
And yeah, I guess maybe it was bothering him before. I mean, we'll find out in the press conference. He doesn't generally reveal too much in pressers, but.
What do I think of Jeremy Bates, Jake? I mean, as you can imagine, I've never seen him play.
Why, Emma, you going that direction? Sorry.
For a while, he was like a bit of leading the charge in British tennis, but yeah, I've never seen him play. Obviously, I was a bit too late for it. I was born.
Was he the guy who got disqualified? Who got the match where McEnroe got disqualified, or what was it? Oh no, not McEnroe. Tim Henman. Didn't Tim Henman get disqualified at Wimbledon in a doubles match?
Tim Henman did, yeah. So Tim Henman did, yeah, because he hit a ball kid with a ball, yeah. And yeah, that's exactly right. Vance, yeah. For once, I feel as though I'm the scholar here on this topic. Yeah, Jeremy Bates was someone who would regularly get to, I'll say regularly, got to a few third and fourth rounds at Wimbledon, would be the sort of fingers crossed he's going to finally, lay the Fred Perry ghost, if you like. But was never really, it was more hope than anything else. But yeah, Tim Henman, yeah, he got disqualified for accidentally, but in anger, hitting the ball kid. I don't. Do you remember the Tim Henman reference, Damien, in the Conan Island book? By the way,
I don't think so.
It's about wild cards, and again, it makes me feel very uncomfortable.
Okay, so Hurkacz is out of the tournament, guys. Second round.
Well, that's
Can you remind me of the reference? I don't.
Well, just a quick minute silence, I think, for Herbie Hurkacz's demise. Damien, you should be very upset right now because Herbie Hurkacz.
Yes, I'm just completely stumped.
I
don't know how I'm gonna like.
That's ruining his birthday. Right? Happy birthday, by the way.
On your birthday, no less.
Thank you, Vansh. By the way, match point Emma Raducanu. She actually goes for a pretty sensational forehand cross-court pass here on the run, and it's gonna be match point for her. 8th break. She's looking for the 8th break of this match, and considering how it's been going, it really is a chance to like return for the match.
I will address that Henman Conan Island book question in a second, but yeah, match point, Raducanu. This has just been a bit of a balmy match, really.
Anisimova has to hit a few shots here. One of them will be off a slice. Raducanu just defending to save her life. One more slice from Emma, and Anisimova tries to go for a slice down the line, which is so wide, and it is a 6-3, 7-5 win for Emma. She looks delighted about it. She's going to play Iga Świątek in the third round. Well, there was that left leg concern. We don't know how serious that is, but certainly, well, again, it was just a performance of like surviving against the power of the opponent who was dictating the proceedings.
Damien, that slice was... It wasn't a
It was awful. I mean, yeah, she felt the nerves, but also I think it was a pretty good call from Emma to go for a rally like this with Anisimova, because this is just not what Anisimova plays at all, right? I mean, Anisimova just blasts the ball, and when you force her into a point like this, she's really out of her element.
These two are apparently really, really good friends.
Anisimova and Raducanu
seem to be very friendly here at the handshake. Maybe
Mostly,
they just like...
Mostly I'm getting this from Instagram.
Maybe they just talk to each other about their injuries and how tough it is to stay off the court.
That is, by the way, that's what you come for talking tennis for. You come for Instagram sources. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not on it a ton, but I follow some tennis players, and yeah.
Vanch is in the know.
I don't even have an account, so I have
Apparently,
to rely
everybody on the WTA is just friends with Priscilla Hahn. Okay, like she's very, very popular. Like,
yeah, Damien is too cool for school. That
who is that other person?
I am actually, yeah. In terms of Instagram, I feel like I was born too late to be on Instagram, which is probably not right, but wow, that's amazing. So Jose Morgado, our friend, posted the Australian Open men's singles round 3 bottom half matchups, and instead of Vukic, he said Vekic, and Dona Vekic is like gonna be a tough one for me against Jack.
I have made a couple of big mistakes. I think I wanted to write, I corrected it, but it was a few minutes. I think I wrote, oh yeah, I wanted to write Jaime Faria, and I wrote Jaime Fonseca a couple of days ago or yesterday, but I corrected it, but it was like 5 minutes. But anyway,
by the way,
and I
Emma
corrected it
Navarro
before
is in
anyone
big trouble.
went out. Sorry, Van.
She's lost the second set 6-3, and she's serving here and down 15-40.
Who's that? Who's that?
Emma Navarro.
Oh.
Against Xiyu Wang.
Sorry, never mind.
Going to be a challenge. It certainly was, even though it was a straight sets victory, it was still a hard-fought match. Yeah, I mean, it's incredibly difficult, I think.
Is Damian impressed now by Emma's performance? I mean, no, really. I mean, it's a very similar match against Alexandrova. I mean, she literally just has to survive against a hard-hitting opponent who's hitting, well, her off the court or herself off the court. Is it decent? Yeah, I mean, you know, she's playing okay, but she hasn't done anything out of the ordinary, really.
Yeah, 3 games in a row, by the way, for Xiyu Wang, and now she's up a break in the third. The winner of this will play Ons, I think, in the third round. Ons has looked pretty good so far.
Ons is the quarterfinalist at this event.
I'm just watching Liani in the background. I'm just watching Liani.
Nick and I both went with. We both thought Ons would get to the quarters. I think you did also, Damien.
Yep. I really liked how she started the season, despite the losses to Andreeva and whoever she lost to in the second week that I keep forgetting about. And
Putintseva,
yeah.
Putintseva, who's up 5-1 right now on Zhang Shuai. We could have Putintseva versus Kazakina. That would be a good match. One is
Matej wants, well, I probably doesn't want Putintseva against Iga, given that the Wimbledon history happened and everything. But yeah, Putintseva.
Any of these players could get to the quarters.
Yeah,
like Ons is who I pick, but I wouldn't be surprised if any of them made it.
Obviously, yeah,
it's very open.
It's kind of, Navarro is the one that people kind of overlook at the moment. and just look for somebody in that section to cause the upset. We'll see if it's Zi Wang, almost from Peyton's turns, but no. There's a chance for the Chinese.
We also have Denis Shapovalov against Lorenzo Musetti. That's come underway, and Shapovalov is up a break. Actually, I'm going to switch over to that one. That looks like a interesting match. It'll probably be a mess, but
yeah, I'm kind of struggling. I don't know what to watch now. Nothing is particularly exciting to me at the moment.
Two very frustrating players in in Musetti and Shapovalov, but also aesthetically pleasing. So.
That's just been a good Australian Open for Emma Raducanu. Whatever happens now, she can lose 0-2. It's been
I will say overall, she's played pretty well since the start of the grass season. No,
when she's played, but there's been again half of the story with Emma is
I think the U.S. Open was just her own doing. Like she just didn't play enough after DC and then loses in the first round. But aside from that, you look at who she actually lost to, and you look at the runs before. It's been pretty solid. It's like if you just stay healthy and you keep playing a full schedule, a fuller schedule at least, like that's a top 30 player.
Again, maybe people sometimes misinterpret that, but I just have high standards for her because I actually believe in her rather than don't. And I mean, in terms of this Australian Open, she's kind of like done everything that you could possibly hope for so far. And anything from here against Świątek would definitely be a bonus.
I'd love to have you and Jack like airing your thoughts on Emma Raducanu because I think you do.
I think we have in the past. I think there's been an
You've touched
episode
on it, yeah, but you've not gone.
I think we had the Fernandez Raducanu debate before.
But what's the Fernandez view? I think you probably share the same Fernandez view, right? Which is she's peaked.
Well, basically, I don't think that was it at the time. I think that was just like who is better, who is gonna have a better chance to be at the top from here on out.
Oh,
and
well,
we didn't share.
I think Emma's peak is higher than Leila's.
Yeah.
Well, at the time, that's probably that's not what Jack was saying, and I don't think that's what you, John, were saying as well.
Ooh.
Wait, what do you think? Yeah, I mean, I think Emma's peak is higher than Leila's.
I mean, I was always in the Emma camp.
Yeah, me too.
I definitely think that. But maybe on that particular debate, maybe
I think you were very high on Fernandez at some point, John. You
Yeah,
just kind of have been disappointed the last 2 seasons, and
definitely.
Keane may be female. Well, I've seen a video of him playing tennis, and let me tell you this: if he is a female, he's pretty male-ish.
Keane, I haven't seen Keane on the live chat for a while.
Keane, I don't know if it's related actually, but he got a different job, and he won't be able to watch as much tennis anymore.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's related to him not showing in the chat. Maybe it's just random.
Just in a weird serve from Musetti as well, which would make Raducanu and Anisimova proud. There's something a bit weird about his service motion, Musetti.
I did
Jane,
have
the
Musetti losing this
Davidovich
match.
Fokina is already dreading that he's going to play tomorrow. You should be pumped. You should be like, ADF is playing tomorrow. Like Scott is posting on Twitter, right? Happy Andy Murray plays a tennis whatever match.
I love how Scott is just acting like Djokovic wasn't good before Andy Murray joined.
Yeah, there was a rally. I think you're probably
hilarious. He's like,
the rally. I mean, listen. I think I've seen a million tweets that made me laugh so much, but that rally one was a bit. Yeah, it was like
I was about to reply to his tweet with sarcasm, before Andy joined, Novak couldn't hit a forehand, he couldn't move, he couldn't hit a serve.
Yeah, right. By the way, if you and I think Novak would like to shorten the points a little bit. don't take on Andy Murray if that's what you want to do, because otherwise you're going to have points like the one that Scott highlighted, which is where it just never ends. Oh, that's a nice winner there from Lorenzo.
He might try to do that Andy thing that Andy sometimes did on second serves, where he would just crowd the service line and then hit like a backhand winner.
I see, Jane. Luckily for you, then you're not gonna have to see Rublev play anymore this event.
Ouch.
Sorry, couldn't help myself. But yeah, I mean, ADF in the third round. I mean, that's kind of like one of his best results in a while. So glad for you, at least in that department. And the comeback must have been a fun one.
Musetti, Shapo, Rublev.
Oh, the other one yesterday as well, Korda losing to Vukic in 5.
Yeah.
2 sets to 1 up.
I decided I'm gonna watch a ridiculous match, and it's Cerundolo Diaz Acosta. I just want to see them play on the hard court. You know, I've always wanted that.
I don't know how much longer I can stay awake, so
I mean, I don't actually know. You know, if you know what our plans are.
No, whenever you and Vanch, because I think you will last longer than I will. Just whenever you want to finish the stream, just finish it and snore it.
I mean, there's not that much that I want to watch at the moment, so I'm definitely okay to keep going. Because, well, yeah, again, if there's a lot I want to watch, I probably don't want to be on the stream. But if there's just one match really, then yeah, I'm fine. And also, yeah, I was thinking that like probably Raducanu Anisimova, you know, when that's over, we might switch over to Iga. But yeah, obviously that plan failed.
Yeah, but I'm basically just watching 2 matches, which is the Navarro and Wang, and then the Musetti Shapovalov. And then nothing else really excites me, honestly, until Fonseca. Until Fonseca, nothing is really exciting me.
I am very much excited by Mute playing Kruger. I can't wait for that. And also Marozsan against Tiafoe.
Oh, Marozsan Tiafoe. Yeah. Actually, I do want to watch that. But I don't know if that's...
yeah,
of course, we do want to watch Berrettini Runa, right?
Yeah, Berrettini Runa is like probably after Fonseca, but we'll see. Fonseca Sonego, I'm actually not excited for it all today.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean, I just want to see him play again because
I've seen him play a billion times.
Have you watched him for 1 billion hours?
Yeah, for 1 billion hours and hit 1 billion forehand winners.
Thoughts, by the way, going out to a friend of my sister's who apparently was on John Cain Arena watching Hubert Hurkacz go out of the Australian Open. Musetti breaks back against Shapo, so we're back on serve now. This Shapo Musetti match feels like I'm watching what's that Moratoglu thing? What's the
UTS?
UTS. Yeah, I feel like I'm watching a UTS event here where
they are both included. I don't remember their nicknames though.
No.
Oh yeah, those ridiculous nicknames.
I don't remember either. And I don't see like a group of people that Moratoglu is paid to sort of celebrate and support the event in the corner or throughout the stadium.
Anyone got info on Tristan Boyer? I mean, where do I start, right? He played for 2 seasons in Stanford. He went pro after that. And he's looking like he will break through, actually. Very aggressive, but getting some more regulation. Won all 3 challenger titles on clay, interestingly enough. But obviously, he's fine on hard too. Is he going to trouble ADF? I mean, yeah, one of the best defenders in the game after going 5 sets against Federico Coria. Nah. But, you know, he's a very cool player. Since August, peaking and really improving by the minute. So I'm excited to see him probably break the top 100 this year. Vanch probably will be as well as a Californian.
Yeah, I never played him, but I saw him in a lot of draws, and he played some of the people I know. And the consensus was that he was going to break through at some point and make the top 100. So he's almost there.
I mean, this is wow stuff here from you, Vanch. I mean, I never played him. It's like, this is. Do you see the elevation that you take talking tennis to when you say stuff like that? That you're like, well, You know, I never had a match point against Carlos Alcaraz, but
Did I say
I just
not?
grew up at
Did
a
I say
time
the
now
wrong
when I
name
look back
by
and like,
accident or something? I mean, I did mean demeanor. I don't know.
I
don't know.
just have these
I did
memories.
mean demeanor. I don't know. Did I say something?
No
Did I
idea.
say something different? I don't know.
Don't. Go on, Vach, what were you saying?
Yeah, I just have this memory of all these players like just in these draws in 14, 16, 18s, like all throughout
Yeah.
Southern California over the weekends, like
You're
their
a big
parents like
cheese.
sacrificing their whole life for them. Like some of these
When
people
is
even go to high
Banjgar Money
school,
gonna
like,
happen? You know, where's that wild card coming?
I don't know, man.
I don't
Maybe
know for which event, but I mean for
Well, it's
something.
gotta be the San Diego qualifying challenger.
yeah,
You
I
know.
It was
mean,
also in the
I would
draws, you know.
make more money covering tennis than I will actually playing it. So from that standpoint, it
Do you
doesn't
think
make
some
sense.
people are looking at you and thinking, "Oh, this guy's gonna break through"?
No, not at all. My game is also not very pleasing to the eye to watch.
Ooh.
I don't have a very
Oh,
conventional technique either.
A pusher, are you?
I actually was sometimes.
I knew it. I bloody knew it.
Oh, I said ADF. Really? No, I meant ADM. I guess. Yeah, I probably just missed it by one letter. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it.
Pushing sometimes gets you pretty far in juniors. At a certain level.
You got to win points. You got to win matches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Were you playing like Nikolai Davydenko?
No, not at all, man. I wish I could take out the balls on the rise like that. and-
Okay, that's what Ozan is suggesting, but apparently not.
No.
You know, I think some coaches, by the way, may be very good at coaching, but I don't think they always know the tactical side of the game. Like I had a coach say to me once, you know, what are you doing? You know, changing the point in this particular time. I'm like, because if we just do a baseline exchange, I'm losing the point 9 times out of 10. So sure, I'm gonna change that dynamic, and sure, I might lose 6 out of 10, but I'm losing 6 out of 10 rather than 9 out of 10. And I do think that sometimes coaches are too busy coaching, and you've got to do it in a particular way, that they forget about the dynamics of a point. And I don't mean professional coaches, I mean your average coach. I don't know why I went off on that tangent, but anyway.
Paviji, by the way,
Jamie's
is
thinking,
like
John, just go to
hardcore going
sleep.
for Jose Morgado, and he quote tweets that Dona Vekic responds and says, "Love it. Even the players are calling out Jose Morgado these days." And like, I mean, it's a simple mistake here, you know, for Jose. Like, you know,
So
this isn't really an action that has to be called out by anybody.
Who's having a go at Jose Morgado?
Paviji.
Oh, Paviji.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. These but like, why is Paviji annoyed with Jose Morgado? I mean, Morgado does his thing, but it shouldn't annoy many people. He did annoy. Oh, what was that whole thing about the? I only caught bits of it. The whole draw revelation thing.
Oh
that
yeah, him and Michael.
Skumski or
Yeah, that guy.
Samulski. I don't know if it's actually Samulski or Samulski. I mean, he's Polish, but I've got no idea.
So what was the annoyance about Samulski's? Like, we get accreditation and you shouldn't be doing this, or I don't know.
No, basically Samulski, I mean, his entire Twitter account, it's like a dead account in the sense that he never really responds to stuff, but he just posts the draws and the orders of play, which obviously he takes off some of like mailing lists, you know. He's one of these journalists who like travels to a lot of events, but you don't actually, I don't really understand like where he works or what sort of work he does. But anyway, he doesn't have like a major social media footprint other than this account. But basically, he posts the draws and stuff like this and the orders of play. And Jose, well, maybe he took it from him, or maybe he's just also on the same mailing list, because Jose is probably right that he works for a major TV rights holder in Portugal. So he also gets this stuff. So I think both people in this discussion, they just weren't like totally right, to be honest, and that's really kind of all there is to say. I mean,
So
I'm the
why
first
did
one
the
to call out
clumsy
Jose
guy get
sometimes.
annoyed? What was he annoyed about?
Well, because he thinks Jose is stealing the content from him and not giving him credit.
I thought that was very silly.
I mean, I don't see really what's that laughable about it, because the guy posts something that's not really like out to the general public, and then Jose just reposts it basically, while of course not adding anything to it because it's the Jose way of doing things, right? Recently, I actually saw a tweet from Vange that Jose reposted, and I don't remember what it was exactly, but basically he said exactly the same thing and like didn't add anything to it, and yeah, that was a stat that you posted. I don't even remember what it was.
Oh yeah, it was
But
the Grigor Dimitrov retirements.
oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Grigor retirements and slams. So Vange is posting that
Yeah.
Grigor retired at 3 of the last 4 slams or whatever, something like that. And
Yeah.
then Jose is like, Grigor Dimitrov retired at 3 of the last 4 slams. And that's it.
Yeah.
So
I was like, thank you for the
there's a
boost,
lot to
Jose,
be
man.
annoyed
All you
by.
gotta do is just quote tweet me every time and just write, "Oh," you can do that.
Yeah, that's annoying, but I don't know what. But that's different, Damien, to getting access.
Oh
to
yeah, it's
draw.
different because in that case he's actually like giving credit, whereas Michał is basically saying that the draws, the orders of play he posts, that Jose takes these screenshots from him and then simply posts them, as if they're their own, even though this info is not yet out on the Australian Open website or something. I mean, maybe Jose is doing that. I don't know, but Jose could also be very much right that he
might
might be
just
on
be
the
taking it
same
from the
mailing list
email
that
that he
Samolski is. I mean, it just seems clear that Michał is like, he thinks that the info he posts is like a path to the Holy Grail or something like that. Like he
Yeah,
thinks when
because-
he posts an order of play, this is just something that is forbidden to literally everybody else, and he's just sharing some info that is literally you can't get it. And at least in terms of the ATP, like I'm on the same mailing list, for example, as he is, and I see a lot of the time that he posts that stuff, and like, yeah, sure, I mean, go for it, man, but you're not the only person in the world getting this. You're not bribing the tournament director so that he sends it to you an hour before he does to anybody else. So what is
Yeah,
the
and
point,
then also
really? I don't
Oleg
know.
quote tweeted that and is like, yeah, says the guy who for years has just been getting it from the darts website, darts tennis or whatever. And then
Yeah,
like
because
Jose
he's posting
replies to him.
screenshots from darts from the darts rankings websites.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get it that he's not really tagging it. I think I've done it before as well, because by now everybody knows it. It's impossible to be a tennis fan without it. And like, yeah, I mean, tagging it like 250 times, I guess it's really not that big a deal anymore. So all sides in this argument, they were like just like arguing over something that was a bit silly.
Yeah. Seeing Musetti fighting with a fly.
Who do you guys think should be like the most? Oh yeah, and also Joao is super right. Someone sent this to me that literally after this, like the day after, Jose posts a photo about like with an entry list from darts rankings, and he tags the account. So yeah, at least it had some sort of
effect.
At least it had some sort of effect. Yeah, that's what I was trying to go for.
Yeah, I saw that Demon Dimon, I think is Ricky Demon, is it maybe? Account.
Yeah.
Basically, I didn't want to. I wasn't calling it out, but I just thought it was a bit harsh, and maybe, of course, because of my investment in the situation, does affect it. But still, it was a comment which was mainly like to talk about the Djokovic Murray thing and all the rest of it. But it was along the lines of Djokovic should be winning this match easily, and yet he isn't. And there he is taking a leaf out of Andy Murray's book. And I thought, hang on a second. I think Jaime Faria is doing something to make it a little bit difficult for I don't think this should be an easy. Go on, Vanch.
Novak is not the kind of guy who, like, even in his prime, was like winning the first 2 or 3 rounds in straight sets. Like, he was always losing sets here and there. Like, it's.
I mean, I also responded to that by saying, look, Novak said that the guy Jaime was playing lights out, especially in second set. blah blah
Yeah.
blah. And I don't know, it just was a
What did
bit.
Pavi say to you?
Who,
Pavi?
Pavi G?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Maybe he's responded. I haven't seen it, but no,
Okay.
it was somebody else that was no, it was Ricky Demon that put it out initially, and I was like, yeah, I don't think you should say that it should be an easy win for Novak, because I think there's someone on the other side of the net that's making things a bit more difficult for you.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
played really well
both of you
yesterday.
guys have like a lot of bias in that discussion as well. So,
Oh, maybe. Oh, well, for sure, I do.
man, I mean, Pavi obviously does because he's the.
No, not Pavi. It was Ricky Demon.
Oh, so Ricky said that Novak should be winning easily.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, no,
okay,
not
sorry. I kept
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
about Pavi for some reason again.
No. We'll give Pavi a free pass on this one. No.
I mean,
No,
also Ricky was probably kind of going about this in a bit of a jokey manner, right? As in, like, yeah, the stereotype that Murray always made his matches so tough, and you kind of go, yeah.
But winning easily, you don't need to say winning easily. I mean, you shouldn't. There was nothing
Actually, yeah,
about.
he's an account who just likes to take the piss off of.
Yeah,
That's sometimes
exactly. That's kind of what. Diaz Acosta is pretty banged up, by the way. There's a left foot problem. I think he was like grimacing when the physio was treating him. I wonder if we will see a retirement here sometime soon.
I don't know much about this Demon account. I know it's got a lot of followers, but
he is. I mean, he basically is the founder of a pretty big website, the Grandstand, and that's his that's his body of work over the years. Diaz Acosta is taking off his hat, which I think suggests a retirement indeed. So he retires after going down a set and a break.
So Cerundolo is in the third round.
Yes, without dropping a set, although of course today it wasn't that tough not to drop a set, I guess.
City on serve. Wang is 2 holds away from beating Emma Navarro. It's 2 matches in a row. Emma is going to have to win ugly.
I think I'm going to have to leave you guys, and Damien, just end the stream as and when, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to ask you one final question before you go. Who do you guys think, and this is to both of you, who do you guys think winning at the Australian Open today would be the best birthday present for me?
Well, now Hurkacz is out of the equation. And
I mean, he was never in the equation, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, I think it's quite easy. Well, at least off the top of my head, it's quite easy. Without checking the draw and who's playing, and for me, it's you want to see Berrettini beat Runa, right?
What?
You love
Oh
Berrettini.
yeah, big fanboy of Matteo, right?
You love Berrettini.
I think I'd actually rather see Holger progress, especially
Yeah,
now
yeah, that's what a lot of Berrettini lovers would say. Yeah, that
I
makes
mean,
sense.
now that we've got Kecmanovic in the third round and he can play Sinner in the fourth round, very potentially. Like, yeah, I want to see Sinner Runa in the fourth round rather than Sinner Berrettini. I think Sinner Berrettini on hardcourts has zero intrigue.
I mean, Menchik played yesterday. Matt Hatch is not involved. Who else do you love? Who else do you love without looking at
Fabian Morojan, you want to see him beat Tiafoe?
Yeah,
is that John's answer as well?
Well, you love Marozsan, I know, but I need to now look at the draw.
Go for it.
I think Fabian winning that match would make Damien pretty happy.
Let me just have a quick look, just to see what else is going on today. But Mensik is got. Sorry,
yeah, all the Czechs are playing tomorrow, so you can take the Czechs out of the equation.
You got a little Czech softness there. It's obviously okay. It's not those guys. I'm just looking at the draw. Diallo, Kachanov, no way. Fritz Gowin, no way. Yeah, we've already. Yeah. Well, obviously forgetting Fonseca because that's too predictable. Yeah, I think you've got a point there with you want Marozsan to beat Tiafoe. Yeah, that's got to be that, surely.
Yeah, if Fonseca was playing someone big,
yeah,
then yeah. it would be
If
an
it was
option.
Fonseca against Rublev, albeit 2 days ago.
Yeah, very much right. Like if Fonseca was playing someone I wasn't sure he was gonna beat, probably. But yeah, it wasn't a particularly difficult question. I think today the result that would make me the most happy would be if Fabi beats Frances. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it.
I knew you were gonna get it. I knew you were gonna get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Let us know in the live chat the match that would make you most pleased today to celebrate, which is going to be a 24-hour birthday, and if in a way, because we've started from midnight for Damien. And listen, there's going to be fireworks for sure. I mean, are we going to see Warsaw like celebrating? Is Warsaw going to be burning tonight, Damien?
You mean in terms of what? Just my birthday being
Your birthday?
celebrated?
Yeah, it's not going to be, not because of Hurkacz going out of the Australian Open.
I don't know. I mean, my
don't think
birthday
there's
is
gonna
just
be
pretty
riots.
weird generally because it's during the Australian Open, so I tend to sleep through most of the day. I'm also going to be
Sure.
playing table tennis tomorrow, so there's like a birthday practice session for me. So I'll be hoping for some good results there. Maybe this will be kind of like a good celebration.
Imagine like the headlines of the Warsaw Times tomorrow saying that there was like riots going across Poland, and the riots were because they were annoyed about a line call in the Hurkacz straight sets loss today. That would be then we would know that Tennis has reached new levels in Poland. And on that note, I'm going to go backstage and maybe beyond. But and Damien, you can just click end stream as and when. And
Of
cheers,
course.
Vange.
Cheers. Well, what are you watching now?
Well, I stopped watching Serundolo Diaz Acosta, needless to say, when that retirement happened. Probably should catch Navarro against Wang, the rest of it, but I'm just not really too invested in it as a whole. I might just go to Shelton Carreño Busta, but actually, yeah, let's watch the last few games of that one, I guess.
Yeah, let's just do
Bring
it since
Emma.
it's the biggest one probably left.
It's a
right
big
now.
story. Obviously, I'm a bit more of an ATP fan than WTA. I don't feel like Emma is like at least yet that relevant for the entire event, but it's still a big story
Yeah.
and it's still the last few games. So I'm probably gonna just start from watching that and then maybe get to Shelton Carreño Busta. As I said, I'm kind of waiting for Mutek Ruger, and also that match we just mentioned with Marozsan and Tiafoe definitely excites me today a lot.
All right. Well, we have a breakback point now for Emma to get back on serve. She actually Wang just saved one. And then this was a really good white serve from the lefty.
Yeah, I don't have anything against Jose either, Jake. I mean, I met him in Estoril last year. He was very nice. He actually even like helped us out a bit with John at one like mixed zone thing. Never mind, long story, too long to tell. But I mean, I do like him. I think he's much more friendly off Twitter, like in real life rather than on Twitter. And he just has a very different way of doing content on the social media app than I do. But I think that's absolutely fine. And no issues generally, but I understand that some of the O's and wows, I mean, I wouldn't do it like that. I just have a different way of doing business, let's just say that. I'm not going to have a few jars for my birthday, no. I was thinking about setting something up for after that table tennis practice session, but the issue is, in order to watch the Australian Open later, I would have to sleep kind of during that time. So I'm probably not gonna have any beer. I don't really like it anyway. So
Well, that was an unforced error from Navarro there. Deuce on the forehand. It
was a short ball. She really could have done much more there on the approach. Of course, she already had like 2 breakpoints, right, in this game?
She did, yes.
I love that. Of course, the classic out wide +1 play from Wang on the second one.
Yep, lefty serve out wide.
We've all seen it a billion times before.
Oh wow! Yes, Knew that was coming.
I'm just gonna be doing that every single time now because you mentioned it.
Of course, if Navarro ends up breaking her, you'll be like, well, it wasn't really that relevant, you know. It's not really that relevant.
It doesn't matter, you know. Yeah. This is another thing, yeah, definitely. There's like a few ways in which I express this. Like it's not like a phrase that's fixed, but definitely that sentiment of like, yeah, this isn't important. This is
Yeah.
Well, we've got another breakpoint for the American now. What if Navarro just like survives this match and then survives Jabber in another free set class?
And then
I
keeps
guess
on
she runs out of
surviving
steam
until the
against Iga
quarters.
then or something like that.
Yeah. She definitely could. I mean, she's kind of like, you know, in some ways an endurance. Her endurance is pretty good.
Yeah.
There's that wide serve again. See that breakpoint.
Exactly. Also not that long for a free set match, I guess. 2 hours and change on the clock. It's not quite her match against Peyton Stearns.
No,
Definitely
that
not.
was extremely intense and physical the whole time.
Ghosty, you're just still irritated that she beat Peyton, aren't you?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, it is my birthday, Jane, yes. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that Yastremska produced such a strong showing. I mean, I saw that she was like such a massive favorite over Danka. And yeah, I mean, Kovinic hasn't played in ages, but still, it's Yastremska. Like, technically, she could lose to anybody. But it looks like she's firing up right in time again, and she has so many points to defend. She's probably not going to do the whole thing, but even saving some of them is very important.
This time Emma was ready for the wide serve, and she found good depth on the backhand return, and she puts away the volley. These last couple of points, I mean, she definitely was all over that second serve at deuce. She hit that forehand down line winner, and well, she's broken back.
Two very strong returns back to back to get that re-break, and now we're at 4-all. So looks like we're headed for another thrilling finish to an Emma Navarro match.
Yeah.
Chapo and Musetti 5-all in the first. Musetti has a breakpoint now. Khachanov took the opening set over Diallo. Got Monfils against Altmaier as well.
Chapo misses this really easy pointed deuce. It's like this forehand volley that he had all day for. Oh.
You know what other match upset I would like to see today? Tristan Boyer, but I just don't think that's possible. In the same way that Fonseca wasn't an answer to that question I posed to you, because like it's simply a little too predictable that he probably should win. I just don't think Tristan is possible, so I'm not looking at it at all.
Yeah, Tristan Boyer is not going to win. It's not going to beat Alex de Minaur. What's more likely, Tristan Boyer to beat Alex de Minaur in round 2?
Uh-huh.
Or Alex de Minaur to beat Yannick Sinner in the quarterfinal?
Good question, actually. Probably still. Yeah, it has to be Demon, actually. Yeah. I mean, Demon winning is what I'm trying to say, yeah. Against Sinner, yeah. Yeah, it's gotta be. I mean, I know how this matchup is looking, but still the quality gap is closer there. It's just because of the opponent as well. Like if Tristan was playing Casper Ruud, Andrei Rublev, like there'd be a chance, right? But Alex,
yeah.
I just remember what, I don't know, Demon did to Arnaldi last year here or something like that.
Yeah, he's very good against those type of players.
He's not quite there yet. Yeah.
Super sticker. Oh, nice. Thank you, Jane.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you for the super sticker. It's
Oh,
worth saying that it's your birthday on the stream. Maybe we should get everybody, just to kind of come up, routinely to like, let's say we're just gonna get everybody to have their birthday like 5 times a year on the stream and hope that the guys don't remember.
Ghosty also with the specific amount right there.
Yeah, Ghosty gave that a while ago. How long are you guys staying on stream? Actually, it's kind of undecided. I mean, my assumption was that I was gonna do Raducanu and Anisimova. I didn't know Vansh was joining, but we've kind of been duoing for the entire Australian Open so far. And now we're not even like watching any specific match, right? I mean, we don't have a. Well, we are both watching Navarro Wang, but like we don't have an actual match that we kind of are. The entire stream is focused on. So I think we're just gonna like wing it. I don't know what I mean. I more or less know what Ben Navarro does because you are talking about it all the time. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know about it really because I just don't live in the States.
Yeah, he is in the owner of Credit One Bank, and I know that, and also he also owns the Charleston event and the Cincinnati tournament.
Yeah, I know about the Charleston connection. Yeah, that's the only thing I know really.
And then he's like this. He's like the CEO of this financial group as well, Sherman Financial, I think. So it's a pretty big buyer in the States. So yeah, he has.
That's a shame, Jane, because we actually can't see it. I think with the super sticker. I mean, I don't see anything really other than the donation and that it's a super sticker. Like I don't see the pair with a dancing with the dancing pair with a party hat. Maybe it's just on YouTube. Maybe we just don't see it on StreamYard, and maybe on YouTube it shows up. I'm not sure. Didn't know that Sinner's dad is a chef.
You didn't know that?
No.
Wait, really? You had no idea about that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's. I thought you knew that. That's crazy.
Why?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I thought it was a known fact. Okay.
I mean, I'm just not interested, I guess.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
like
yeah.
Anya, thank you. Yeah, apparently it does show up on YouTube as I imagined. No, or does it? No.
He also kind of looks like Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, I guess I'm just not really too interested in the families of tennis players. Like I can really scarcely name a few tennis players where I know what their mothers and fathers are doing. And in most cases, that's just because they are like coaches and former pros. Whereas in most of the time, I just don't have any idea about their occupation. If Raducanu somehow wins this tournament, will you be impressed by that, Damien? I mean, depends on the the scale, on like who she's playing, how she's playing. But now, of course, I'm kidding. I mean, if she's gonna be beating Swiatek, it will like require a lot of fantastic play from her. I'm assuming so. Probably yes. I don't see that much to be impressed by in her first 2 rounds. I think she's just been solid and kind of removed 2 very similar opponents from the draw by being decently aggressive on second serve return when she can, but mostly just a good survival effort against 2 hard hitters, which is, it's good. Like, there's nothing to criticize about her event. I also don't think she's performing above expectations, really.
Oh wow, she's made that return, Emma. Right on the line. Completely off balance.
Oh,
it's a good second serve.
Is there another withdrawal in the Australian Open doubles? Did I just get that notification? Is this the special case? I guess that's also another question to ask here. Well, two more actually, but it's not the special case. It's Pospisil Thompson and Escobar Smith, which means that Karol Drzewiecki will debut in a Grand Slam main draw. That also could be a birthday present for me, if that match is happening today. I actually am not sure. They're playing Dzumhur and Tsitsipas, so yeah, I think that match is happening today. So this could be another good birthday present win if Drzewiecki wins a Grand Slam match.
Wait, sorry, who?
Karol Drzewiecki.
Don't know anything about him.
He's currently ranked about 90-ish. That's he made his top 100 debut in November.
I should know more about doubles, but unfortunately I don't know too much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say that it's a massive mistake from you not knowing him or something. He was like, pretty sensational at the end of last year on the Challenger circuit in doubles, first in South America, and then actually even coming to Alicante, where both me and John were. But obviously, from my perspective, like, that's someone I've watched kind of like, well, grow up is maybe, well, definitely in the doubles sense, that's someone I've watched like for pretty much the entirety of his big time career. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting to watch
Patrick Tarak and Ryan Segerman. Those guys I know.
Well, Segerman is playing with Boli Pali here, but yeah.
Ryan is a heck of a doubles player.
There's a match point coming up for Emma Navarro, and she actually hits another big return right at Wang's.
This is quite a game. I mean, from 40-15, Wang was serving at 40-15 in this game, and
why is Ziyu like apologizing to her? She missed that ball.
That is definitely a bit of a steal at the end for Emma. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
40-15, 40-15.
Was she like what, 2-4 down, or was it just 3-4?
Yeah, 2-4.
Yeah, 2-4 down. So actually 2 in a row now that she's done this.
Survived
against Creighton and against Ziyu Wang. So she's into the third round. Most people were thinking she's one of the more vulnerable seeds. I mean, they weren't wrong, but she does make the third round.
She does. It'll be a big match between her and Jabor in round 3. They've never played each other.
Yeah, I was going to ask, because obviously Emma's rise coincided with Ons being off the tour for some of last season. So,
yeah. Well, that section is kind of exciting. Navarro and Jabor, and plays the winner of Putin-Seba and Kazakina. And you've got Raducanu and Swiatek at the bottom. Of course, we've also got Eva. This tournament was in the second round, and she was a lucky loser, right?
She's playing with Gracheva. Did she lose or what? What do you mean?
Or she was a lucky loser because she lost in the final round of qualies.
She's a lucky loser, yeah, but she's gonna play Gracheva today.
Yeah.
Putin-Seva 6-2, 6-1 over Shuai Zhang. So the only women's match going on right now is Rybakina against Iva Jovic, and she's 6-love up. She won the opening set with Bagel, Elena.
Yeah. Rybakina loves to beat up on teenagers this tournament.
Yeah, that's the draw she was handed. 16-year-old Emerson Jones, 17-year-old Iva Jovic, or the other way around. I don't remember. Didn't she play Brenda last year as well? Or am I? No, that was Arena. But I think she played Brenda at a slam.
Maybe.
What was the slam? 23 Roland Garros, maybe, or something?
Maybe like RG, yeah, Roland Garros. I think.
Yeah.
Sounds right. And we also have Keys and Collins coming up. That's a potential third round. We also got Kudermetova against Bolter.
Okay, that's a good one. I actually kind of want to tune into that.
Andreeva against Haddad Maya. The other Andreeva, Erica. And yeah, we have Hachano beating Diallo in a rematch of the Almaty final. And yeah, Shelton is serving out the first set right now against PCB. Although PCB has a break point. Tristan Boyer, by the way, 2-love up on Alex Divinor.
If that was in sets, I'd be screaming right now, but it is just in games.
Yeah, just games. I might tune in.
Joao pointing out the resilience of Emma Navarro, whereas Ghosty admits that he secretly likes her.
I mean, what is there not to like? She's super,
No, I mean Ghosty is just about the parents, right? That's.
Oh yeah. That okay? Yeah, I've seen that.
That's basically what he doesn't enjoy, but
yeah, I mean that's basically the only reason why people don't like Pagula or Navarro. It's just that their parents are billionaires, so they're like.
What's the PCH? Have you ever driven on the PCH, Vansh?
PCH, remind me what that is again. I don't know.
Is
what
that some
is.
sort of a road in California or something like that? I don't know.
I would know it if it is. Oh yeah. Okay. I know what that is. Yeah, Pacific Coast Highway. Yeah, I've driven on it. I mean, yeah, I have driven on it. I mean, that's where all the fires are happening right now. I mean, not right now, but like, yeah, I have some friends who live near that highway, and like it's been a bit of a struggle for them with the fires. And actually, my dad goes there like almost every week for work, and he's not going there this week
because of the wildfire, or okay,
because of the fire. So yeah. Luckily, all the people most of the friends and family, they're pretty safe for now. But yeah, it was pretty scary last week for sure.
So yeah, what are you watching now that Navarro has wrapped up her match?
I think Musetti won the first set against Chapo. So I was watching that kind of on and off. But now I'm not really watching anything.
Yeah, I mean,
find something to watch.
Part of me was kind of thinking I should probably catch Tristan playing the minor for at least a while, but I'm just afraid I'm gonna turn it on and it's gonna be that's sort of like 15 minutes, 5 games, all going for Timon. But I guess I'll try. I'll try at least for a little.
I'll try it for a bit as well. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, me neither. Alex has broken back. Of course, there's nothing wrong with Demon potentially winning. I don't hate him or anything, but you guys know that when it's an underdog, I generally tend to, of course, root for that. And guys who haven't made their careers yet and who are still kind of running into, just trying to get to their potential. That's what I try to look out for, and that's what I'm more interested in rather than the favorites progressing smoothly. I do have a good feeling about the minor though this event. Just generally, I mean, he should make the quarters, and after that, anything can happen seemingly. Although, of course, he's going to be a massive underdog against Yannick. But if he makes the quarters, that's kind of all you need to get there. Like after that, he can just go all out, and if he loses, nothing wrong with that.
That's a guy who's raised his ceiling from 4th round at majors to now quarterfinals and majors.
Just raised it by 1 round, but that one
round. But that 1 round is pretty big. Like that's like basically a half of.
So how many quarters is it now for Alex? 0 and 4, right?
0 and 3, right? Because 4.
Because the US Open years back, right?
Yeah.
So do you think that he's gonna be at like a Rublevish?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. The thing is, I actually think there are some players that he would match up better against than Rublev does, for instance. Like, say he's playing Medvedev on a hard court. You don't hate the matchup for him as much as you do for Rublev, right?
I don't hate the matchup, but you remember the recent encounters, right?
Yeah.
Like, I do you actually see him beating Daniil in a Grand Slam quarterfinal on any surface? Really, I don't.
Roland Garros.
I mean, they played last year too, right?
Yeah, and he even won in the fourth round. But
yeah, so maybe that. But then again, Medvedev would have to be in the quarters for that to happen. So
on grass, maybe. I mean,
yeah. I don't know. I
He
guess
matches
I
up
just
well
don't
against
see him
Fritz,
beating
for
Daniil in a
instance.
Grand Slam quarter on hard.
Maybe if he plays like a Taylor Fritz, it's more even. But then their matches at the end, Fritz started to get the better of him.
I think Taylor, as Alex has raised his ceiling, Taylor has too, and he kind of is like I expect that head to keep being at least pulled back to even by Fritz.
So no, I don't see him beating any of the top four in the quarters if he does. He already played Zverev at the French last year, for instance.
Yeah, could be a bit rough for him to get over this quarterfinal hurdle as well. Of course, there's always a chance that, I don't know, this very draw, let's say Yannick Sinner somehow loses. I don't know, probably gets injured because I don't see how he loses any other way. But let's say there's a Matteo Berrettini or there's a Holger Rune in the quarters. And yeah, then it becomes very possible.
Yeah.
Thomas Martin Echeverry in the quarters of this Australian Open. What do you think about Echeverry Giron today? That's like one of the matchups where I think, anybody can have their own opinion. But I actually feel pretty strongly about one of the players.
I think Giron is going to win.
And I feel pretty strongly about Echeverry.
Mostly just, it's like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just feeling vibes, but I just feel like Echeverry is kind of just leveled off now. He's like kind of 30 to 40 in the world. Like, you kind of just know what you're getting from him. Giron, I feel like maybe he could make it physical. Like, I could see Giron doing something in this match.
Does making it physical give you any chance against Echeverry, though?
No, but I guess they're both good in that area. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying Giron is the favorite either. Echeverry is probably going to win, but...
Oh, really? I mean, the odds are pretty much dead even, so that's why I'm asking about this match, since it's quite interesting. No, I don't know. I guess Giron, like, I appreciate his development. I appreciate his improvement, definitely. I just don't really see what he does against someone like Echeverry, even on a hard court. Like, the quality on the shots, the heavy topspin of the Echeverry forehand just beats anything that Marcos has in his game. Serve-wise, it's not even like any advantage for Giron. I don't know. I expect this to be like a slow burner that Echeverry just wins in 5 sets or whatever. But it's also, as you said, even though I'm going for a different player, like, I think this is also very much in the territory of like, gut feeling.
Flip a coin, Flip a coin, maybe, 50-50.
Yeah, I feel pretty strongly that, like, this is a hunch I have, but it's a hunch. I know it's not actually, any maths or like science.
Yeah. Well, this is not one that you would want to bet on, for sure.
Yeah, or actually, I mean, you could, but not on the like ML, but you could bet on the over sets or something like that, right?
Yeah, number of games, I would bet maybe.
Yeah, number of games, number of sets, but probably not on the winner. Tristan, we have some stats on the screen that he's like smashing the ball 20 kilometers harder than the Minor on every shot. I mean, yeah, we were expecting that. Speaking of players who like don't really have that much quality on the shots off the ground, like Alex is definitely very much up there, and yet despite that,
also, it's
so
kind
many
of
different
irrelevant.
balls.
This match is completely irrelevant, dude. Echeverry Giron,
because Sinner is in the third round. Yeah.
Super irrelevant.
And Tome did take a set of Sinner in Shanghai, was it? But yeah, I mean,
well, yeah, they both.
There's just no way he wins free. There's just no way he wins free against him.
Yeah.
Alex going for a pretty nice inside-in forehand.
What did you think about Jari? I mean, Jari played Sinner pretty well for 2 sets.
I didn't watch it. Not a ball.
Yeah,
so,
I
mean, I know that he was like not really like even facing break points or anything like that for the first 2 sets, right?
Yeah,
But then were the tiebreaks close at all?
The second one was closer because Sinner actually, lost a couple of points on his serve, but serving for it at 6-3. So then so then he was serving at 5-6. So you're thinking, okay, Jari serving at 5-6, maybe this got interesting. And then Sinner just locked down, won that point. So after that, I was like, okay, third set 6-2 or less. Pretty much it was, I think 6-1 in the third. In a sense, it kind of reminded me how Sinner locked down in the tiebreaks when he played Tommy Paul at the US Open. Of course, Tommy also had that double break lead in the first set.
So Shelton becoming a modern day serve and volley and serve and approach player. He gets to the net as soon as possible, hyper aggressive game style.
Sometimes he overdoes it. Sometimes he could rely more on his baseline game.
And the margins, it makes the margins in his game a little slimmer, which presently doesn't seem to be the way you win slams, the way you go for the biggest titles. I've seen some people make the case that actually what separates the good from the great right now is the return skills, is the defensive skills, and it's kind of true. And that's kind of worrying for Ben, yeah. I mean, I definitely don't hate him just pressuring the opponent and going to the net. There's nothing wrong about that. But sometimes, especially in specific matchups, I don't want to refer to that Bublik one in Madrid again. But yeah, there's just matchups where you feel like he doesn't need to be playing like this. And he's actually limiting not limiting, but he's actually making the margins slimmer by doing that, yes. Oh, Mute and Kruger have started. So I guess when I get tired of Boyer and Deminor, I'll probably switch to that. Actually, I might already switch to that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm watching this 2 games of Alex playing Tristan, and it's gonna be another one of these semi-slow kills, I think, where the errors that Tristan is gonna make, they're just gonna be a bit too many of them. And yeah, it's fine. I mean, you're playing one of the best defenders in the sport, one of the fastest players in the sport.
Yeah, we could get Fritz versus Monfils in the third round, I guess. I mean, well, yeah. I mean, dude, I think Taylor versus Ben in the fourth round would be good. We got that.
That's the one that I'm looking at right now as a potential chance for anyone to pose a threat to Taylor. I don't think Gael will do it, coming off the title and already being quite tired, I'm assuming, by the third round. Who is the potential third round for Shelton, though?
Shapovalov or Musetti.
Oh, okay. That's pretty big, yeah. I guess Musetti, Fritz, there's some matchup history there. Fritz, Shapovalov.
On hardcourt, Fritz owns it, but on clay and grass, Musetti.
Yeah. Let's just say all of them, Let's just say Shapovalov, Shelton, Musetti. These are decent threats.
Flashier players, Flashier, something different. Taylor's going to have to...
Because I thought obviously GMP was the one that's easily could have a shot at beating.
By the way, it doesn't reflect well on GMP that he didn't have a single break point in 5 sets against them all.
I know. It's also kind of similarly to what we just said about Shelton. It just doesn't seem to be a way of winning big titles in modern tennis.
Yeah.
John Isner won an ATP 1000, obviously, but
I think the volleys could also get better for GMP. There were a few chances there to finish points that, there were some forehands as well. Sometimes he's a bit, sometimes the forehand chest tie is pretty good, but then he has other chances to kind of finish points or go for the kill, and he's not quite as deadly as he could be. But what makes him so dangerous is that 2 first serves thing, man. That's a whole nother thing.
By the way, baseline game. Riley Opelka or Giovanni Impeci Pericard?
Riley.
I'm going GMP, but it's not.
But it depends on the surface. I'm just going off of their match in Brisbane, which I know is not the best sample, but
I'm honestly just going not on shot quality, but just on movement, really, which is also part of the baseline game.
Yeah, I can see the argument. I mean, he also has a good slice. He also has a decent-ish slice, right? GMP, it's serviceable. He's got that one-hander, yeah, I could see the argument, but then Riley is he moves well and he's more fluid.
Is he more fluid, really?
Actually, no, not than GMP. Actually, I might change my answer now.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Riley might still have like better shots. He's definitely more consistent with them than GMP.
Yeah, like his
Easily.
average shot is maybe more consistent. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
definitely is. But GMP just like dynamically, it's a different
Yeah.
game, really.
Mhm.
It's a discussion though. Like I definitely think
I
you
don't think it's
can
obvious though. Yeah.
you can argue for both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, GMP is a little shorter, which does help out in this.
Yeah, that does help. He's like 3 inches shorter, maybe.
You definitely would take the well. I mean, depends on the serve. I guess is arguable too, but all that considered, I mean, GMP kind of has the same serve as Opelka, or not the same serve, but similar serve in terms of the danger level, and at the same time he moves better. So
And also the second serve. The second serve thread is
yeah,
maybe
yeah. I mean, sure.
serve, so.
There's
Maybe
drawbacks to this. I mean, the game that Monfils broke in, for example, the fifth set from 30-15, GMP makes 2 double
two
faults in a
double
row.
faults. Yeah.
Yeah. Cressy famously hit a few games where he was just double faulting 4 times in a row.
Yeah. You don't think something like Cressy, what happened to Cressy, and he just fell out, is something that could happen to GMP?
Not to that extent.
Yeah, I don't see it. But
I think something would happen to like Chris Eubanks, whom we've also compared to GMP a little bit. Like that's also not happening really. But I could see him like barely winning matches for a few months and maybe falling to like 70, 60 at some point. I don't know if it's that likely, but it's possible. Like it's definitely a game where you can just go hot cold because so much is about the like 53% to 47%, total points won range. And if for a few months the slim margins are not going your way, then yeah, you might actually fall into a bit of a losing streak.
yeah.
Then again, you have the weeks like Basel, right, where his game didn't actually feel that low margin because he never got broken and basically never really was in trouble. But this is actually a pretty sad loss for him, I think, to Gael here. Like, if he is going to be a top tier player and kind of make big slam runs, these are matches he has to be winning.
But also, he should have lost in straights.
Yeah, he should have lost in straights, totally, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, he could have taken the first set easily, so 2 ways to look at it, but yeah, there was a way for
there
him
was
to
this
lose.
one easy overhead that he should have put away at 6-5
Yeah.
tie break.
So I think that you can definitely look at it 2 ways, but yeah, I mean, he was very close to losing the match in straights anyway. So as a whole, this performance like doesn't really fuel you with confidence that like he's going to have this Wimbledon run is going to be like becoming a serious thing. Also at Wimbledon, he was actually a lucky loser, right? He lost in the final qualies round to Maxime Janvier, which also represents to me that the very same thing. Like again, against a decent server, he's going to be a 50-50 most of the time. Yeah, Mutay Kruger is looking pretty fun. I mean, Kruger is just kind of like one of these guys who hits the same ball every time, like it's the same pace, same heaviness, super steady with it, despite being aggressive. And Mutay obviously is just gonna like junk ball him, try to junk ball him to death. I have a sneaky, I have a sneaky feeling that Mitch is actually pretty good at a game like this. Like Mutay is gonna struggle to make him uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think
But
he
it
just
very
nervous
might,
about it.
well, it might as well just end up completely different. Like I'm mostly guessing here. I guess Kruger hasn't replayed guys like that. Maybe Kozlov counts, but
Do you remember Kruger played Lehechka at the US Open?
obviously, yeah,
And he was up, what, 6-0, 3-0, 7-6, 6-0, 3-0.
exactly, yeah. Might have been a match point later or something like that as well.
Yeah. He actually won more games against Djokovic in 2019 than Nadal did in the final.
So did he win 8?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was.
Yeah, that's a forgotten gem over round 1 then. He definitely won more than against Djokovic that event than Luca Pouille as well then, right?
Yeah.
Luca Pouille was
Well,
like
actually, no, I lied. He didn't.
It
Nadal
was the
won
same.
one more game.
Oh, Nadal won one more game. Okay.
Yeah, for some reason I thought there was another 6-3, but yeah.
5-2 de Minor serving for the set. I guess I chose right when I switched to Kruger Mute. Well, yeah, we missed a lot of comments actually. Ivajovic looks like she's half of Rybakina's height, says Ozen. What's the score in that match? Is it going to be a double bagel? No, actually, Iva has just broken in the second set as well. Nice.
Okay.
Jari was playing Ryu well, indeed, hitting harder than Sinner. I guess that's not surprising. I mean, he just doesn't have, he's blasting the ball probably harder than Yannick, but he doesn't have the same efficiency and consistency. Defensive skills, that's often a code speed for speed, agility, and flexibility. Probably, yeah. Why not? Some talk about Craig O'Shaughnessy and the Dustin Brown upset at Wimbledon, indeed. By the way, go ahead.
Are you excited about Mahach versus Djokovic? Is that a match you'll watch?
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Djokovic against the Czechs, the saga over the next 2 rounds should be very interesting. Dustin Brown, in terms of his retirement ghosty, he looks like it because he actually played Mets at the end of last season. In doubles, I mean, in singles, he hadn't played for a while. He played a few events only last year, having his best moment at Wimbledon with Sebastian Baez. He literally took Sebastian Baez as a partner, mostly because he could get into the slam because Baez has such a high singles ranking. And they actually beat Nizherinsky, and they went to the third round, which was kind of shocking considering Baez has like 0 doubles pedigree. And then he played Mets at the end of last season, and basically Dustin's plan was to see if he can retire at the Australian Open. But I don't know, maybe he just didn't get a partner because he was never on the entry list with anybody. So looks like he is done with a bit of an unceremonial, showing, I guess, in Mets. But yeah, 2-0 head-to-head against Rafa. He's always going to be like a fun fact and always going to be a player that's going to be remembered for that. Obviously, so many other impressive runs in his career as well. My personal favorite might be that Sofia Antipolis 2019 Challenger. I think was also like a Muratoglu run event. And he was just out of nowhere, kind of just demolishing players on clay there. I think he beat Krajinovic in the final. But yeah, they're head-to-head over Rafa.
Yeah, he played Lafiani in 2019, I think, as well. It was an exciting 3-set thriller.
Sorry, which one?
It was a 3-setter between Lafia and Dustin Brown, I think, in 2019.
Oh, really? I don't remember that.
We got what? I'll look it up right now, but I definitely.
I mean, that match would have been pretty insane. They kind of have a similar play style.
They play very similarly. That's what I was just going to say. I think a lot of what Lafia does is actually Dustin Brown inspired.
2019 Newport Beach. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
nice.
They did, right?
Yeah. I guess Newport Beach, that would have been before that Sofia Antipolis title because that was March, April, and Newport Beach, I think, was held in February.
Yeah.
Or either January, either January, yeah. He beat Arevalo when Arevalo was still playing singles, and then Ayeni before losing to Altamirano. Wow, some insane names here. I mean, Colin Altamirano hasn't... Oh, he's actually playing. Okay, never mind. He's playing some ITFs. Had no idea.
How many top 100 players do you think Lafia has played in his career?
That's a good question. I wonder if he's even played anybody, to be honest. But there might have been Taro Daniel last year, right? He played Taro Daniel. Did he play him twice as well? One time coming close and one time not. Or maybe Taro withdrew out of that second event. I think he was definitely supposed to play Taro Daniel twice, but I'm not sure that happened. So I'm just gonna say Taro. Like I'm gonna end there. I don't know.
Yeah, Taro, and then he played Rindernesh in 2022 in Vancouver Challenger.
Okay.
And that
so
was
yeah,
actually
I was probably not
6-1
aware of
ahead.
Alafia at the time, at least not like too consciously. That's why I couldn't remember
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Actually, a very
absolutely.
close match. Okay, no
Yeah.
idea. I think I remember the run from Rinden here because just before the U.S. Open, right, Vancouver, I think, and he made the final and lost to Lestien. Like I remember his run, but I didn't remember the tough opener against Alafia Yeni.
Yeah. Lafayette actually played James Trotter last year as well. Lost that pretty bad though.
Yeah, the one against Taro was pretty okay as well. I don't remember the exact score, but it was a pretty
Yeah, it
close
was like
one.
6-3. It was respectable.
Okay, yeah. I think they were supposed to play again the week after, and then he withdrew. No, actually, maybe that was Per. I think maybe Per was supposed to play Taro Daniel twice in a row.
Yeah.
That's that particular swing. So yeah, maybe just once. Anyway, yeah, that was the only top 100 match that I remembered from Alaf. Yeah.
He also played this one really good set against Lee too. He has, I don't know, he's had like flashes. It's just with that game style, I just don't know how he can.
Yeah, it's never gonna be sustainable. I think he's
Yeah.
not quite Dustin Brown. I think in terms of just the talent and the ability. Dustin Brown also kind of like, well, not inventing it, but that forehand slap return, it's also going to be something he's remembered for. Absolutely awesome in the doubles. He's got quite the legacy for also, that like character and everything. For a player with a career high 64, Dustin Brown is going to be remembered. Definitely.
Yeah, I heard Mira Andreeva say in an interview that he's one of her favorite players to watch.
See ya, Sean. So will Mahac be nervous playing Djokovic? I'm very curious to see how that match goes. Pretty sure Djokovic wins, but probably goes to 5. That's what I went with. Djokovic in 5. Very tempted to pull the trigger on the upset, but I guess I'll just kind of refrain for one more round and basically say what I said before the event, that I will like Lehečka's chances against Novak after Mahac or Opelka kind of soften him up.
The thing about Lehečka though against Novak is, does he move well enough?
It's a worse matchup. Like the matchup is better for Mahac.
Yeah, so if Novak gets through Mahac, I don't see Lehečka beating him. But if Mahac beats Djokovic, I see Lehečka. You know what I'm saying?
No, I still will kind of side with Lehečka in terms of just being okay, maybe like a slightly better player overall than Mahac. But matchup wise, yeah, I think Mahac has a better one.
But he's a better ball striker than Mahac for sure. And he's got a bigger, just like his fundamentals are
what
better.
does it mean better? Because like the timing of on the rise for Mahac is.
That's true, but like the forehand sometimes the amount of
he's like a conventionally bigger ball, Lehečka, definitely.
Yeah, like just
his serve will have so much more potential as well than Mahac.
So much more, yeah. It's
because
like
they both get to the net very, very smoothly.
Yeah. I actually wonder who will have the better year and better career between them. Kind of an interesting debate.
Yeah, age and kind of like career trajectory would kind of suggest Lehečka, but then again, it's a late breakthrough for Mahac, but he's very much
Mahac, the
pulling it
kind of
off.
talent that guy has, like the left-handed passing shots he comes up with, the forehand, the jumping forehand. I mean, he's like definitely more. I don't know, he has a few more intangibles.
Yeah. He is definitely, there's that, like his hands, his feel. You just can't teach that. He has a lot of things you can't teach.
Yeah.
Whereas Lehečka is maybe more of a player that, just kind of was
textbook technique and.
Yep. textbook
Strong
technique,
fundamentals.
physicality as well, like the
Yeah.
just strength overall, like things you can work on. That's Lehechka. That's what Lehechka has over Mahach, whereas Mahach has the like literal pure hand talent. And I guess Menchik is just gonna be much better than both guys.
Yeah, I think Menchik will have the best career of the three, but
I think so as well. Yeah. But it will be pretty fantastic for these guys to just have these years on the tour together. And I was just checking this today because I was writing an article on literally just the fact that free Czech guys are in the third round of the Australian Open, and kind of that Czech men's tennis is shining again after a few years.
Yeah.
So I was looking up like how many top 100 players Czechia had at year end in 2019 and 2020 and 2021. 2019 there was no one in the top 100, and 2020 and 21 it was Iji Vesely, and obviously he's like 93 born or something like that, so he wasn't exactly young at the time either.
Yeah.
So still massive for them to have 3 top 50 players right now.
Yeah, before they had Stepanek and Burdick and
Iji Novak and the likes. I mean, basically Czechia has always had some quality men's players, and maybe it wouldn't stand out this much if it wasn't compared to the women's, right, where we have just an endless array of Czechs.
There was no Czech women in the third round this year, which is surprising. But also that's just because Vondrousova hurt, Krejcikova didn't play.
Yeah,
Bohova tough draw.
Sakharov too. Yeah, Bushkova got Andreeva in the first round. Noshkova lost to Towson in the first round, another tough draw. Yeah. But that's like more of a coincidence than anything else. But yeah, we have so many players like just even in the main draw, right? So that's why it stood out more that Czech men's tennis was kind of lost for a while. But also when they were lost, so like 2019, 20, 21, there was a very good junior group growing up in, well, Mahach, I don't think he had like any big junior results, but Lehechka, Svertina, Forejtek especially, the junior number one at the time. So you could see that it's like working towards something.
Is there something brewing here for Iva Jovic? Should I turn that on?
I don't know.
I mean, 3-2 and a break. She had the early break at 1-0. Iva Jovic is definitely. So far I've been an Iva Jovic believer from the matches I've watched of hers. I don't think she's going to win this match, but let's see here, go with it.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't seen her enough, to be honest with you, but
she's giving me CC Bellis 2016 vibes.
That's the name you rarely see anymore, along with Jared Donaldson.
And Katie McNally, although Katie McNally actually
Katie McNally is back, yeah. That's why actually I guess you hear about her at least from time to time.
But remember that second round that she played against Serena in 2019? She won the first set.
By the way, how about Whitney Oswig?
Oh gosh, what a throwback.
Yeah. Great junior, then had this long losing streak on the tour, which she's actually kind of like more famous for than any other professional result she's had, which is kind of sad.
Remember that other really talented junior? His name was I think it was Donald Young. Yeah, I know. I think there was actually this YouTube video that got recommended to me the other day, which is like, what happened to Donald Young or something.
Oh, I thought it was the Kozlov tiebreak at Indian Wells.
Yeah, it's Stefan Kozlov.
I think that video was taken off YouTube, but basically
Ben Rothenberg and Alex Ruskin will just forever die on this Stefan Kozlov train.
Stefan Kozlov, yeah. Alex loves Kozlov.
Oh,
he's just gonna bring him up in every single like the thing we say here with Nakashima or San Diego with you, where like Vanches went 10 minutes and the stream is 10 minutes long, and Vanch is finally mentioning that, or like the United thing for John. Like Alex has that with Kozlov, yeah.
Yeah.
At least Donald Young made it to the top 50. So many juniors over the years who haven't even come close to that, but won like Grand Slams in the Grand Slams in juniors.
By the way, we were talking about how there was like, it felt like there was no off season because we were still doing a lot of content on this show and the other shows. Like Alex Kruskin, man, like those December months, he just goes all out on content. He's like, there's just so much content he does in December. It's insane. I don't know how he does it, but yeah.
Yeah, I did a few shows with Alex this December as well.
Yeah. I remember in 2020 when I used to write for Crack Records. Yeah, it was a lot of December content.
Okay.
Articles and yeah. It actually might be his favorite month, which is insane.
I mean, it is definitely a good month for like, summaries, recaps and stuff.
Yeah.
Also,
that's the only time you
much...
can really kind of look big picture at the whole career and their year. And he loves doing that. He loves like putting players in tiers and making lists.
Yeah, all the like drafts that he did with Gil, right? The draft of young players.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite thing about Alex is the stats of Tennis Abstract.
You just decided at one point, like, okay, I'm just only going to be using this and leaderboards and.
Yeah, usually when I record something with Alex, it's just like I'm sitting there and I'm talking, just kind of. Well, I'm using some like matches as an example, but I'm probably talking more about like trends, patterns of playing something. And then Alex comes in with the hold percentage and the break percentage from the last 52 weeks of straight off Tennis Abstract. And it's just such a really fun dynamic. I love how excited he is about that website anytime. Obviously, rightfully so, as I've many times given credit to Jeff. I mean, without Tennis Abstracts, I can't imagine being a tennis fan right now. Or rather even, well, maybe you can imagine being a tennis fan, but being someone in the media without Tennis Abstract, impossible.
And he's also this other guy who's like, because he just has so many players that he doesn't know what to do with, or he's a little bit kind of, what group do they belong in? He's like 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E. It just... He's like, this is tier 1A for me. This is tier 1C for me, 1D. And I'm like, okay, you got to choose. You can't just put every player in every single tier. Like,
yeah, there's 100 tiers for top 100 players. And then,
it's kind of insane.
Did Donald Young ever win a singles or doubles main tour title?
He's like that coach who wants to give every player a chance, and can't.
I will honestly have to Google that, Ozan. I don't recall him winning an ATP Tour title, to be honest with you, but maybe that. No, he has not. In singles, he had 2 runner-up finishes. There was Thailand 2011, I guess that Bangkok, and Delray Beach 2015. Yeah, I should remember that because he lost to Dr. Ivo, and then 2 runner-up finishes in the doubles as well. One of them being Memphis, and the other pretty famous one because it was the French Open. But yeah, 2 runner-up finishes both in singles and doubles for Donald Young on the main tour.
Yeah.
Litu and Evalis playing mixed doubles together, potentially. Yeah, Jared Donaldson. That's a clip that I also remember very well. The one where he's like all over Ornogabas, I think, or something like that. Yeah, for that call. Very aggressive, like literally, I think, kind of, I would be scared if I was the umpire, and one of the worst behaviors actually I've seen probably towards an umpire on the tennis court. But.
Definitely.
But well, I mean, Jared, of course, he retired after like just struggling with injuries and seems like he's much happier about his life right now. So good for him.
Yeah, he played the next gen finals. He made some runs in 2017. He was top 50, I think, too.
Who?
Jared.
Jared. I think it was briefly. Yeah. Mahaj definitely has more to study than the last 2 players. Yeah, I mean, the last 2 matches he played with Novak were both very good. So He does have a lot of experience already in this matchup, and yeah, should have his chances.
Yeah, physically there were some question marks coming into this tournament from Mahach after the United Cup incident, but
I had someone rudely compared Tien to Donald Young. I get where it's coming from, but yeah, Donald Young has a bit of a bad rep in tennis generally. Of course, he's earned it as well, but well, it wasn't consistent at the top, but he did have a solid main tour career at least for a while. I think Lerner will be more.
That comeback that he had against Jules Simon was insane in 2015 at the US Open.
Don't remember that, to be honest.
Okay, I think he was down 2-0 and 3-0 maybe in the third, and he come back and won.
So basically, Jiří Lehečka, Mitchell Kruger.
Yeah, but this was against a more impressive opponent. Like,
yeah,
he did it against Jules Simon,
and also it was the underdog that did it rather than the favorite, which is always kind of the big deal here.
Yeah, then he gets to the fourth round that year, then he loses to Stan in 4.
Yeah.
It's a good run. And he also had that win over Murray at Indian Wells. Beat Bardich.
Let's just put it this way: if Lerner has exactly the same resume as Donald Young, we will be disappointed.
Yeah, the hopes for Tien are much higher.
At least in terms of like the steadiness of how how consistent he should be at the top, but probably also in terms of the seeding.
Yeah, Tien is going to be top 50 at some point. That's a top
Donald
50
Young was too.
Yeah, that's definitely a top 50 player. I still want to see that Medvedev match, though.
Later today, yeah. I think honestly, like all, like I think any scoreline there is possible. Like if Daniil wins this match 6-1, 6-1, 6-1, I'm not even gonna blink. But at the same time, like if Lerner wins this, well, maybe not. If Lerner wins this match, I'm gonna be surprised. But if it's like a total like tactical chess battle and it's, I don't know, it's the longest match I've ever seen in, I don't know, 4 sets go over 4 hours, I'm also not gonna be surprised at all.
Yeah.
It's just one of these like weird matchups. Both players don't like to don't like to be on the front foot at all. Or maybe at all is a stretch, but like they don't feel fully comfortable. And you just know that it's either going to be like a very lopsided win for Daniil, or it's going to turn into this massive fight.
Well, what makes this one more exciting is that Daniil's game is in a bit of a mess right now, right?
I mean, we don't fully know, I guess, where his game is yet, but yeah.
Because like, he did serve 22 aces in the match against Sumridge, but then he also had like moments where like he just didn't know what to do off the ground, and he was like kind of like just he was so vulnerable to the drop shot, like his court position wasn't good. He was taking returns earlier sometimes rather than 5 feet behind the baseline. He was actually hugging the baseline on some returns. But then it got very, very dicey for him, no? Like if he doesn't hit that ace, imagine if he doesn't hit that ace out wide at 30-40 in the fourth at 1-0. Like we might be having a different conversation. Like it didn't look good for a while.
Would that be, by the way, would that have been the upset of the century?
Yeah, it would have. I think I literally tweeted that. I think I literally tweeted that that would have been the upset of the century had he won that fourth. Because like who else has come outside the top 4? Who else outside the top 400 has ever beaten a top 5 player in a major? I don't think it's ever happened.
Yeah, we'd have to check. I'm not really sure.
Like at least not in the time that I've been alive. I don't think.
Obviously, top 400 players. I mean, you can only really play a slam like this with a wild card.
But
in the case of
somebody out of the top 200, like has any top 5 seed ever lost to somebody outside the top 200? Actually, that'd be kind of something good to look into.
Yeah, then you, I guess, extend the pool of players in terms of some wildcards, but also some qualifiers at the very least.
Yeah.
So maybe you're gonna find something like that, but yeah, again, I don't know. Ivan Isavic, of course, won Wimbledon when he was ranked 1-5, but that's so different.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Kasidit Samre, no, yeah. I mean, he's 4-17 in challenger main draws. You know,
He has
that's
one challenger quarterfinal to his name.
yeah, and it's still like a lot with a 4-17 record. Like with a 4-17 record, you probably expect 4 wins at 4 different events, but he actually had 2 wins at one of them. Yeah, Seoul last year. So it seems like he is improving a little bit. You know, his results did get a bit better. But just before the Australian Open, he lost to Clement Tabour in his only match of the season. I mean, yeah, it would have been actually the wildest story I've ever seen, I think, if he beats Daniel. And someone was actually suggesting this to me as well, that, you know, the qualifiers thread that I do during a slam, like, could I also maybe in the future add wildcards? Because he wanted to know more about like that samurai guy, you know, he wanted to like kind of expect that a performance like this can happen. And I told him, well, I mean, I might do a separate thread for the wildcards at the next slam, like if it makes sense, if like some of them are unknown, for example. But don't expect that I would actually be able to tell you that Kasidit Samurai is going to push Daniel Medvedev, because that's not at all what I would put in a thread like this. I mean, I would literally just say that, like, you know, he won the Asia Pacific playoff, which I actually tweeted a lot about at the time, but that the playoff draw this year was pretty weak, and that, yeah, he's 4-17 in challenger main draws, and that this is just way too much of a challenge, really. But somehow,
I was actually talking with Alafia about it. I was wondering if I know he didn't never play him in a professional match, but he said he practiced with him a ton in the Asian swing.
Okay.
And he said he's a very solid player with like a lot of upside, and he was talking about how he's like, he handles pace really well, and he thinks that if he can keep staying consistent and, you know, like continues playing at the level that he can be a mainstay in the top 150. That was his take.
Sounds pretty high to me, but well, who knows?
And he also,
there's actually a couple of
his
pretty
movement.
decent Thai talents right now. I'm thinking of Samurai and Maximus Jones. Maybe there will be something happening in that, you know, that area again after, of course, Paradon Sihabkan and also Danayu Domchoka later. So
the only thing he says is that his serve isn't very powerful, but he's, you know, he's got like decent movement. So he thinks that could take him to top 150 if he progresses the right way. Like, but yeah, I don't know. Top 100, I think he said no.
Yeah, I just think there's like so many players,
Yeah,
even in
there's
the
probably a lot of
300,
players-
400 ranking
probably a
range,
lot of
who have
players, like,
literally like the same
yeah,
ability. But at
same
the same
game,
time,
yeah.
they wouldn't be able to play a match like this against Medvedev. Like, that was just so wild.
No, I think it was just very impressive how he handled the stage and the occasion. Like how that was, the drop shots as well. Like,
Yeah, I was not ready for this. Definitely not. 2 set points, by the way, for Mitchell Kruger. On serve, he's been very, very solid so far. When he is controlling the points, obviously, yeah, he's just like blasting that very steady, heavy ball that I was talking about, and it's doing fine. And now, for the first time, he has a chance at the Mute serve. It was a great return that got him there, as Mute nets his forehand, and well, 2 set points, second serve as well for the Frenchman. Yeah, looks pretty solid so far, Mitch. Mute is already forced to slice, but not. I mean, of course, he's gonna slice a lot of shots in general, but that was like he was forced to. But Kruger misses this backhand down the line, and now we're gonna have another set point. Let's see if the angle out wide serve, is it gonna be also a huge advantage here for Mute? It's actually not that big a deal against Kruger. I mean, he has a stronger backhand than forehand generally anyway. Mute was trying to go T anyway, so it's another second serve return that Mitch has a look at. I mean, so important to actually take this set here now that he's created the opportunity. It's going to be a longer exchange, and yeah, he gets the break. So it's 6-4 Mitchell Kruger.
6-4. Okay. I will probably leave this stream at the end of the second set between Shapovalov and Musetti.
I think we're just gonna wrap it up then. I mean, we've been sitting here for 3.5 hours, or rather, I've been sitting here for 3.5 hours.
I have to go get dinner, and you probably have to go to bed. So.
I will try to stay up for a while because, as I said, I want to see Mitch play Mute,
Yes.
and then
And then
I'd like to see
Marozsan.
Marozsan Tiafoe, yeah. Then maybe get some sleep and wake up in the morning for Berrettini Rune. Actually, the night session today doesn't interest me too much. Like, there's Keith Ruse, but if I don't see it, I'm not gonna cry about it. Medvedev Tien, I only really want to see if it is close.
Yeah.
But I'm not, again, if it's not, I'm not gonna cry about it at all. So I think it's better for me to stay up for quite a while now. But I'm probably gonna get off the stream now. Yeah, I mean 3.5 hours. So yeah, let's put that timing on. Let's put that sort of a line here.
Yep.
Baselining with Medvedev isn't gonna do it, Dave. I mean, maybe not gonna do it, but he would still be able to extend the match like this a lot. Like, Medvedev isn't gonna blow him off the court with his impressive power.
Yeah, it's just going to be a lot of chess and a lot of.
Yeah.
I imagine some cat and mouse points, and Tian can also have some success drawing Medvedev forward, maybe. And sometimes Medvedev gets so close to the net on those volleys, he doesn't always have the best natural volleying skills, unless he kind of comes in on his own terms. So.
Ghosty said he had to. I don't know if he went to bed, but he said earlier that he has to get off actually, or get off the stream. Yeah, no on Emerson Jones and Jovic for me. I mean, I've seen a Jovic match for sure. Emerson, maybe not even. Like, I know she played 2 slam finals against Jamlichova last year, but I don't think I stayed up for the girls singles at the Australian Open. And then did I watch it at Wimbledon? I definitely watched the boys final at Wimbledon last year, Budkov Kierrot Herring. Maybe it was at the same time, so then I probably also missed that. So yeah, I don't think I've even seen an Emerson Jones match, to be honest. Kruger's forehand isn't the most natural shot that side can really go off. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit ugly, that's for sure. The backhand is by far the stronger shot, but today that's actually really nice for him against Mute. Takes away some of the natural lefty advantage that the French could have here. I love how Mitch is like moving to the net as well. He seems to like today always have amazing timing. So he hits the approach, and basically every single time he's there to catch that forehand volley. And yeah, it just all looks so smooth. He's having a stunner of a performance so far.
So Rybakina versus Yastremska in round 3.
Oh, she's already progressed. Okay. So is that still, that's still the only women's match that we had. So right now, no women's action. And we've got 7 men's matches. I actually think the scheduling, and this goes for most slams, like it could improve in that sense. Because even again today, and it was the same case 2 days ago, basically the schedule starts with 1 men's match and like 8 women's or something like that.
Yeah,
like, I
I've
don't
noticed
really know why that's the case.
It's kind of the women's matches end up being a lot earlier, and they.
Yeah, it's the same trend, right? For every slam.
For every slam, yeah. RG, they do this like every time. Wimbledon, US Open, I think, is a little bit more balanced.
Yeah,
Even
I'm not
there,
really
I
sure
think-
why that's the case, because like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. In fact, you could maybe even make the argument that more men's matches should be earlier in the day, because it's like more important to get these longer ones out of the way so that the players
Yeah,
have
I don't
enough
know why
rest
they feel
for
like
the
they just have
other
to
day.
get these women's matches out of the way and then not have enough for later. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like the women's matches are the ones that you can potentially like even maybe move to the next day if it's raining or
Mhm.
something like that, because it's not a big deal if they play,
Best of 3, yeah.
one day after another, yeah. And for men's, it's more important obviously to have these rest days, given that the format is longer. So I don't see any reason why that's actually sustainable. I mean, for me, it's kind of been good because I've been able to get onto these streams and like not miss all that much action, because on the women's side, usually I only watch like 2 or 3 matches every day. Today, one of them was actually Raducanu and Anisimova, although John suggested doing the match to me rather than me. But yeah, I was definitely glad to watch it. Hachanov should be 2-1 up on Diallo soon. He's got a set point here.
Yeah, I'm watching the tiebreak right now between Chapo and Musetti. Chapo just got the mini break with a forehand winner.
Okay, that's a good one, Ozan, as well. Before I go, guys, quick thoughts on who will advance between Ugo and Arthur. What's your take, Vansh, and then I'll give mine.
My feeling is that Ugo has got the better of that head-to-head, and he's been, for the most part, a nightmare matchup for Arthur in a lot of moments so far in his career. But I've seen something special from Arthur the last couple of matches, that's made me kind of more of a believer that he can actually win this one. And it's close enough, and in the sense, like, the matchup is close enough to where I don't look at the head-to-head so much that it like overcompensates the impressive parts of Feast that I've watched in the last couple of matches. So actually, I think I'm going to go with Feast in 5.
I think I went Umber in 5. I can't quite justify calling Arthur the favorite there. Like, I really can't. But I get what you mean. Like, I think the performances both against Virtanen and Alice, like, that's exactly what Fields needs right now. Just sort of staying tough mentally in unpleasant matchups against peaking opponents. Guys who, in this case, like, just hit very big and can really put him on the back foot, hit through that forehand with some flat pace, serve extremely well. Whereas Umber, yeah, there's more matchup issues. The matches that we've seen from them, even the Tokyo final, they very much just showed us why this is a dangerous opponent for Arthur. The fact that he is like so stuck in his backhand corner, the lefty serve out wide. We saw what Lerner ended to him with that at the next gen finals, right? Arthur was just completely clueless. Even in the Tokyo final against Umber, he's like on the back foot so much. He's defending. He can't accelerate through that flatter ball of Umber. Yeah, it's a nightmare. But the way that he's approaching the matches mentally at this Australian Open, I do wonder if he's not going to be able to like produce another massive effort and work hard for the win. But I think that's what he's going to have to do. I think if Fields is going to advance, this is going to be some pain and suffering. Whereas Umber could feasibly just win this match in a much more straightforward manner.
Yeah, he was prepared to die and suffer in that entire Tokyo run. And
yeah,
that's where we saw a lot of things. But even when he was stretched out on his backhand corner and defending, and some of the shots he would hit on the stretch, like, he was forced to hit a lot of them. But so far in this tournament, he's kind of done that. I disagree with people who said he was way off at the first 2 sets against Virtanen. Like, I actually don't think he was that much off his game. It was more. I think that's not giving enough credit to Otto.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. So I actually even like wrote this article about the Virtanen win and kind of why it represents a lot of the things that Arthur will have to do from here. And I think the one against Alice just followed suit. It was virtually the same in many departments. Of course, Umber matchup, yeah, just a little different, but even more troublesome. So I can't justify calling Fils the favorite, but if he keeps performing like this mentally, maybe. But we know that it's gonna take a huge effort for him to win this match. Who would he play after this? Like, who would he play after Umber? Oh, Zverev.
That's also why I really want to see the Feast Zverev 4th round, and I just think
me too. It's way more exciting than Umber Zverev.
Yeah.
Zverev hasn't lost to a lefty in ages.
In ages.
Actually, fun fact. Yeah, good trivia question. Who's the last lefty Zverev lost to?
Oh gosh, Marc-Andrea Hussler, Davis Cup.
I think that's right. Yeah, because it was at the beginning of the 23.
He was just coming back from the injury, and he wasn't himself at all.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right.
Because I've seen the Ugo matchup, and I don't want to watch that again. Like, I know the result. But Feast? No, now that's exciting. I would watch that.
Yeah, Umber, I mean, sure, Umber against Zverev in Paris, like, we can't just look at that match and say, okay, so this is what will happen every single time.
Yeah, they did
because
also play. He has also beaten him, right? Once.
yeah, I mean,
And
he was very tired in that Paris final. Like
yeah,
it wasn't a match that Zverev won because of any like matchup advantage. No, not really. It was just a match that Zverev won because Humbert was dead. But at the same time, yeah, I think the Fields matchup is a little bit more exciting. Well, Mute pretty aggressively in a good way, clapping for that Mitch volley. Yeah, I mean, he's again just getting to the net with such good timing, and has been enjoying a wonderful day at the office so far, Kruger. So that's another draw from hell, by the way. Feels definitely like it's the equivalent of Osaka, sort of different way, because Osaka just has all the big names, even if the big names like Garcia and Bencic aren't at the peak of their powers. Whereas Fields
Yeah.
just has like a tricky matchup after tricky matchup, and then it doesn't slow down because it actually just feeds you Zverev right back in the forefront. So
yeah, but tricky underdogs.
yeah. Tricky underdogs, then Humbert, who's one of his worst matchups on the tour, alongside Arnaldi, and then the forefront against Zverev, whom he beat in the Hamburg final, but it's not like it's going to be easy, and on hard courts, probably a little bit tougher for him. I see that it's 5-all in that Shapovalov Musetti breaker.
Yep. Shapovalov. Second serve. He started the tiebreak off really well with a mini break, but Musetti was able to retrieve it.
By the way, I know that like double faults have been a thing for Shapo for a while, but right now it seems like he's going like so overboard with them as well. 11.
Yeah, that's kind of the
already.
issue with both him and Felix. The double faults has been a thing their whole career.
But right now he's like kind of insane. 15 against Bautista Agut, 13 against Giron. Here he's already got 11. I think against Struff he hit like 15 as well, right? At the Davis Cup.
The Davis
end of last
Cup,
year.
yeah.
13, sorry.
Yeah, I'm kind of watching out for that at this 5-all point right here. I wouldn't be shocked if this is a double fault. I'm gonna check now because it's second serve, and there's also been a huge pause in play because the umpire had to come down and fix the bottom of the net.
Okay.
No, not a double fault, but okay, I'll see what happens in this rally. And he just sprays a forehand +1.
Yeah, when you
Right.
started saying that, I saw already on the scoreboard that Musetti won the point, and I was like, "Oh wow, is it really gonna be a double fault now?" That would have been very, I don't know even what. Yeah, just a fun coincidence, not from Dennis's perspective, but yeah, he's in trouble now. A set point for
It was a
Lorenzo.
tricky win for Musetti in the first round over Arnaldi, right? Not an
Yep.
easy.
I think Arnaldi had some MTOs, but I didn't watch enough of that match to really tell you if that
Yeah,
was.
there were some NTOs. I remember watching it.
Yeah, I didn't watch enough of that match to tell you if that was part of the story, part of why he lost or not.
He has a good head-to-head versus Arnaldi. So, it's Musetti who double faults at that point.
Yeah, good head-to-head against Arnaldi, but that head-to-head is 21-22 on clay, so that's not really like it doesn't stack up anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Arnaldi was a late bloomer, sorta, compared to Musetti, you know, at least compared to Musetti, Nardi, Coboli, even Arnaldi was a late bloomer, so I don't think it really counts anymore. Like 21, nobody believed that Arnaldi was going to be as good as he is right now. Similarly to like Passaro and I don't know.
All right, 6-all. He makes the first serve. Shapovalov blocks the forehand return in play. Shapovalov trying to go after the Musetti backhand cross court. Musetti running around his backhand and hitting an inside-out forehand winner. So
maybe
point.
we get that double fault now at 6-7. We'll see.
Let's see. Yeah.
Not wishing that on Dennis, as definitely would like to see that match go 5. Fritz is just rolling over Garin, but that's not too surprising. Giron and Echeverry starting now. And Khachanov is indeed 2-1 up. Monfils can claim the win if he wins a tiebreak against Altmaier.
Yeah, one match at a time for Osaka. I can't really think past Bencic.
Probably shouldn't, but
Double fault. Set point down.
oh, yeah. So we
So,
kind of
sorry,
called it,
boys.
although it came 2 points later than when we called it.
So 2 sets to love for Lorenzo Musetti. And the winner plays Ben Shelton. All right, I think I'm probably going to head out now. I've been on the stream for almost 4 hours.
Yeah, Dave, you're right that we haven't really mentioned Shelton too much, but yeah, he's 6-3, 6-3, 4-3 up, and I guess neither of us have just really watched it since he is just leading so comfortably that we haven't felt like we should. Yeah, I mean, Vansh, if you want to go, then just go, and I will probably just close off the stream in a minute or two as well.
All right,
Considering
yeah,
it's
thanks
been almost
everybody
4 hours.
for the comments, and yeah, it was a lot of.
We lost your mic.
Anyways, yeah, guys, thanks for all the comments and the questions, and thanks, Damien, for all the matches that we watched together and discussions, and then we'll be back soon. And see ya.
Yeah, it's been a fun week of duoing the entire Australian Open, and yeah, see you. But I mean, I'm gonna just wrap up the stream, honestly, guys, as well. I'm not really getting like all that tired, but I'll probably just stick to watching a few of these that are happening at the moment. Kruger Mute is still very much my main focus. I guess there's no need to watch Boyer de Minor, but if Shapovalov Musetti or Shelton Carreño Busta get a bit more interesting scoreline wise, I'll definitely try to catch some of that. I am still waiting for Marojan Tiafoe and for Berrettini Rune for sure. There's that doubles match with Drzewiecki that I mentioned earlier that I kind of want to see as well. I think that's more or less, gonna head into a tiebreak. So I'm probably gonna watch the breaker and then follow it from there. And otherwise, just thank you for the stream. We will probably have some content on the channel tomorrow because John wanted to do this like reaction to the Fonseca loss or win, depending on what it is. So if that pans out, but anyway, obviously there's also going to be the Last Ball Drops show after play is done in Australia, then ready play, and the whole shebang, right? I'm not really sure yet if we have the schedule even for tomorrow, so I can't tell you if there will be like another early watch along like we had today. But yeah, we'll figure that out in due time. Anyway, once more, thank you, and I'll see you probably soon. I mean, I've been on the channel so much this Australian Open that I feel like we just see each other all the time. So probably just see you in a few hours then. And once more, bye.